we've got teams like Four Tribes and also some other notable names popping up as well. So we'll keep an eye out for them. And of course, this is our schedule as follows. We're on day 2, so we still got 3 more days this week for the playoffs, and then comes the grand finals over the weekend, where we'll extend it to Monday as well as Tuesday to wrap it all up. So to elaborate even further, there's 24 teams divided in 3 groups, and they will be playing in a lobby of 16 until we find ourselves the top 18 teams by the end of the playoffs.
Action-packed schedule that we have here for August. I mean, we're not going to be even getting any breaks at all here coming from the playoffs towards the grand finals. I mean, heading straight 23, 24, 25 to 26, name it, will be definitely going to be, you know, days you guys don't want to miss out on. So better make sure you guys are following our channel here at Ruthless Esports, because there's still going to be a lot of actions up ahead.
That's right, and I'm just absolutely looking forward to what kind of changes were they going to make for today. And of course, we're implementing the brand new Smash rule throughout 2025. So for those of you guys who don't know how this one works, so during the grand finals on the very last day, the top team will have their point tabulated plus 10, and that point will be the match point for the entire day. So whoever gets past that match point needs to secure a chicken dinner to end the entirety of the tournament. And if nobody ends up smashing the end of the day, then that is going to be the top scoring team to be the champions of the tournament.
And that's exactly what you like. I mean, enough about ratting, enough about just waiting it out on the outskirts of the zone. You want to try to reach for that and try to get the smash overall. I mean, I'm kind of this rule set. I mean, it does take away the stalemates and it adds more peer pressure to really get the actions going.
Yeah, I really do love the new implementation, because back then when you just have like maybe a 2-way horse race, and it gets a little stale, especially maybe towards like the start of it. Oh, say the top 1 team scores a chicken dinner, and now there's that significant gap, right? So in this Smash rule, almost everybody else gets a fair chance to actually surpass that same number. So I'm definitely looking forward to see if there's gonna be any teams that can actually be just as consistent as Yangon Galacticos that did win the EWC quite recently.
Well, it's going to be safe to say, definitely going to have a bounty on their head for sure. I mean, when you have the title, man, when you have the type of name, everyone's eyes going to be all on you. Now, to take a look at this, I mean, you did see a lot of familiar names. I do see a lot as well, you know, coming from the set of Alter Ego eras, from Bigatron by Vitality. If I'm not mistaken, they do have Federalis as well on that squad, and you know, I was able to work with that kid as well, and definitely a top-notch player you want to watch out for. Ladies and gentlemen, no need for any introduction. You guys know exactly who that is, and this will just come true. After all, it's the second day here for this very tournament, so there's still going to be a lot of things that could definitely change all around as we start things off here for the participating teams. Group A will consist once again of Alter Ego eras. You got TDK as well alongside Vampire Esports, Team Secrets, Horror, 52, RQ, and HB, or the Homeboys.
And in Group B, we've got powerhouses such as Boom Esports, Void Donkey, Sim9, Silicom DG Alliance, APG, that's made quite some advancements throughout the league, alongside with MBKE, Four Tribes, and AST. And of course, we got Group C along the right with some titans in the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, what do you say, defined roster here that we have for this Ruthless Invitational Showdown 12. And you know, when you look at the nature of the game of PUBG Mobile, it's safe to say that anything can just surely happen. It's just all going to come down to who's having the better day.
True enough, and on top of that, well, I guess teams are also working on certain build-ups, and on top of chemistry, where we have new roster changes coming in from each respective region. So it's good to know that, you know, the teams are still making certain adjustments heading into some of these rounds here in RIS. Of course, these are the squad rosters for some of those names out there, some of the finest of Southeast Asia, where we've seen a lot back in past for Alpha Aries, but they have not had that pop-up performance throughout day one. Hopefully they pick up the slack for today, so to speak.
That's a problem, you know, for the set of Alter Ego eras. They do have a hard time really standing out from the crowd, but they definitely have the prowess to do so. Take a look at the roster here for the rest of the composition. I mean, you did say a lot of things has been mixed up, And safe to say, fortunately, you know, you get greeted to a tournament like this, and it's definitely an opportunity for you to calibrate what you got to patch up on once you head towards the big stage.
Sure enough, and yesterday's run, we start to see the pop-off performance coming in from Hora Esports, securing themselves a chicken dinner, and on top of that, having High Dami to also step in to be one of the highest fragger as well as damage dealer, which is something new to see, because back then they usually play around Jingle, play around Sky, so it's great to actually see those form of dynamics. And then Southeast Asia, we've had even Boom Esports securing a win from yesterday, on top of, you know, having some of all these interesting dynamics happening between their matches. So Boom Esports definitely is one of the teams that we want to be looking at for the entirety of the run. And of course, with the rest of the names, Alpha Gaming currently sitting at number 2 with their superstar roster, aka, you know, 4MV 2.0, 3.0. I don't know what exactly to call him, but Alpha Gaming definitely is here to steal the show.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, and you know, the fortunate thing is that, you know, when these squads have a player like that standing out from the crowd once again, he's able to bag on his eliminations and just able to push through and slay out the competition. Best believe it, your rankings as a whole squad will do rise once again. And now we take a look at the roster here. Obviously, mentioned it earlier, it's Bigatron by Vitality. Definitely my favorite here, just due to the fact that, you know, my boy Federalis is working on it through, and so far, I mean, stellar performance, and just notable, like, for the set of Federalis, you know, one of the few standouts that was able to come through and actually play for an international squad coming from the Philippines.
Sure enough, and Bigatron right now sits at the top of the table thanks to his heroics as well, and the consistency definitely shows, especially having Coach Ken really guiding their way throughout day one. So I'm hoping to see more Federalists performing for today. We haven't seen too much of a glimpse of Team Flash as well as ASI8 so far, but we do know that they do have the firepower to really fight back. And then who really surprised us yesterday was those teams coming in from the qualifiers. AZ Slumber from Malaysia absolutely stole the show, moved right into the top 10, and yesterday's run, seeing APG's consistency paying off. This is our MVP, Refuse, that's been really showing that he's got plenty of damage, but he could not convert those into elimination. So hopefully he gets to finally nail it on the dot.
Yes, a lot of opportunities definitely granted there. Fortunately, no sustainability is not really a question too much here for set of Refus. And hey, fortunately, we still got a lot more days to come by with for him to prove himself here. And we take a look at the tally as well for the road to MVP. Obviously, when you got Refus on the top side, you also got the All Doc as well, his teammates there on the number 2, number 3 spot. And on the trail, we do got a player from Team Secret and Vampire Esports. That it's going to be Daki and alongside, you know, player from the set of Vampire Esports.
Yeah, we call it Doc 2.0 in that sense, because he looks a little similar in a certain manner or so. But then again, I can't really recall what his real name was. We'll get to that maybe later on throughout our journey. And Red Bull, he was definitely the shining star of Vampire Esports, especially towards the latter stages of the day, where he did manage to pull in to the late game for multiple times already. And of course, let's talk about our top fraggers as well. High Dami has been really showing that he has what it takes to be the top dot of the tournament. It's just that our esports needs to work a little bit more on that consistency for the rest of them to shine as well. Optimus also coming in very closely with 9 Limbs, and of course the boys from APG as well as Team Secret.
Yeah, do mention as well, you know, 15 minutes average survival time. Ever you can crank it up to maximize the whole entirety of a round. Definitely can just see a lot more than just 10 eliminations. So that is definitely surely something they gotta work on. Now we get to see the tally here overall for the playoffs overall rankings. We got BTR, Bigatron by Vitality gonna be there at the number 1 spot with 48 to their name. APG is gonna be on the trail by only 4 points. And now on the bottom side, Team Secret did climb down pretty hefty there, but fortunately, you know, for the set of TS alongside Hora, Boom Esports, and T2K, they're gonna have their own chicken dinner as well. But at the end of the day, you know, it's safe to say, Contra, it's always gonna come down to those elimination points.
Sure enough, and when we take a look at some of these teams like NetX, AZ, as well as Sealcom, DG Alliance, a lot of all these points were racked in from eliminations alone. So we'll have to see if the rest of the pack can actually follow suit at the same time, where certain teams that we expect them to really go full heavy metal, they're not exactly having their guns all fully polished just yet. So we'll definitely give them some time. Maybe day 2 is where they will have a switch of pace overall. 4 Tribes is definitely one prime example, because for the past couple of RIS tournaments that they've joined in, they've always been around the top 10 or so with big elimination numbers. So we're just about getting started anyways, since there's another 6 rounds to go. We'll have to see more coming out of even names like Todak, Going Donkey, as well as Alter Ego.
Yeah, I mean, safe to say, same goes for 7-9 as well. And there's a look on well, with the basing of the tournament here, you don't really get to see any breaks at all. Best believe it, you got to make sure that each and every team here coming from the 2nd to the 3rd page has to come back to the drawing board and start to make things work out. As we get to see now the rotation here for the matchup today. We start things off at a Wrangle, we move towards Miramar, and we go back to Wrangle once again. It's just a back and forth here between the Wrangle and Miramar.
That's right, and there's a whole lot of all these teams fighting for certain drop spots as well. So I'm hoping that they've already settled the scores for a little bit, but you know, when you're a pro player, you won't want to give way to your enemies at any point in time. So, you know, they're not going to let them just break their egos in that sense. So let's take a look at what we got in game 1. We got Group A versus Group B, and I believe it's about time we do some predictions. So, Warden, since you're making a return, do you have any teams in mind that you would like to see winning out the first game?
You know what? I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Might just go for Alter Ego Ares.
Oh, okay. Very, very interesting decision. I guess like I also voted for Alter Ego Ares on some of these rounds, but you know, usually they're late movers in the scene. They just need a little bit more pressure to really kick it off for them. So we'll have to see about that. In Group A and Group B, I guess I'm just gonna slam one in. Vampire Esports.
We gotta beat the production team here, man. We gotta beat the production team here. They're up here by 1 point already, bro.
Oh yeah, I mean it's always tough to beat. They just know something that we don't. I mean they got all the stats and stuff. So, Prot, it's on you now. Who's it gonna be?
Team Secret. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I like it. I like it. So a lot of all these SEA picks coming in. I know that there's a whole lot of fans coming for Horror Esports, Netflix as well, who's been coming in hot from the PNNC round. So you guys could also put in your votes in the chat right down below. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so, as we're just about to start our journey here for day 2. So make sure you share it to your friends as well before we get ourselves back into our round. So let's get back into what went on back in day 1, right? So BTR as well as APG, despite them not successfully capturing those chicken dinners for the most part, they've always been super consistent every step of the way. And I guess like the running story for BTR right now is that they've had so many moments where they end up 2nd place, but they got denied by other teams for that win. So we have to see them really sharpening their fangs in order to start getting into their winning ways again.
Gonna be a lot of curveballs here as we now transition to the game itself. 14 seconds separates us from the first round of action here on day number 2 of the Ruthless Invitational Showdown 12. But make sure you guys are in the broadcast. Make sure you share all of it and just, you know, include everyone, you know, your friends, family, pets, doesn't matter. Let's get it on here, Contra. First round of the day. Here we go.
And it's always beautiful to see this set sail over onto the top end as we're kicking things off from the north point of Zarki. So we'll have to see whether it, well, actually, is this Zarki? Not exactly, it's from the far west. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have a lot of options coming in from the south, but access towards Severny is gonna be strictly denied unless if they do get those early vehicles. And perhaps certain teams might have to change their drop spots in that sense, since they're gonna be moving into either the Barren Lands of Daka to stretch out to Turca Pole. When I'm definitely wondering if they've already settled that altercation, because yesterday we've seen plenty of teams fighting for Novo Noi in the island.
Definitely not really a lot of options here on the northern side of the map. Safe to say, you did mention as well, and you know, one thing that could definitely dictate this as well is where's the first initial circle going to be at. So hey, get your drops locked in, get the loots up and within, and let's see what's going to be the drop clashes that will be happening here soon enough. So far, there's going to be you know, half the amount of teams actually trying to cut across towards the northern side of the map. Pochinki's definitely going to be congested for sure. But there's a lot of efforts as well towards the direction there on Georgia Pool Contra.
Yeah, and that's definitely very interesting to keep an eye out, since certain teams might be fighting for those vehicles, and we might even see those early casualties by doing so. But then again, we have ourselves a pretty straightforward pattern back into the mainland. Very likely than not, we'll still end up somewhere towards the center of the zone. So anyone inside of the island, they might want to consider making a quick move. APG sharing that spot alongside with HB. I wonder if they're going to be kept out of the mainland, so to speak, since there's always going to be those teams eyeing out on them through the bridges later on. So we'll have to wait till that moment arrives, but we kick off with Cellcom Digital Alliance on our screen, which has been rather impressive towards the later stages, and AST already initiating on Alter Ego from the get-go.
Not really looking so good here for my prediction. Shots fired now here, and they're gonna go to the direction of Private Massey. Not really a great sign here so far, but hey, shots connected. Pump to the face, finds one, drops on the ground. Reset will come through, and it's a pretty great punish here so far from the side of Alter Ego Errors, but it's a back and forth trade. Delta finds one, he drops on the floor as well, and these two are just hitting each other down to the ground. Not really a great start for either end.
Yeah, it's now 2 versus 2, and they're just playing through the open fields. Daringly enough, they do get weapon diff, though. That's the main concern for the rest of these members of AST. Gante getting knocked down so early is not even the good news for them. I mean, that's the chunk of the firepower gone for the side of AST now that he's being knocked down. But thank goodness for Moana. He's going to be A-okay, but the Molotov gets popped right through. And here comes the push over on Zio D, and it doesn't seem like it's connecting. And Zio will go down without much of a fight, and it's all 4 points for AE, keeping your dreams alive.
Yeah, a room of breathing air here for me specifically, you know. But hey, able to get it done. Now you've gone through that, you know, initial casualty, but you got to worry about Sem9 alongside Team Secret as well, already reverberating around Georgia Pool. So they're going to be late on rotation for that one. I'm not exactly certain how it will come by later on, but for the time being, no, we do go here to the direction of Todak, and so far they got the whole vicinity just all for themselves.
Yeah, Todak's going to be A-okay. I mean, they just need to move maybe a mile or so to get to where they need to be. So they could just read the room and just scout all around, since there's going to be majority of these teams to eventually traverse across those regions. So they don't really have to do all too much. Meanwhile, Team Secret's not exactly in the zone just yet, over on the north point of Georgia Pool. So plenty of loots to go by. But the problem about starting off in Georgia Pool is always maybe the concern of getting yourselves those vehicles. If there's going to be just about enough for them to really move across. And then how many teams do they realistically have to get by at the very same time in order to move in safely is another thing that they really have to think about.
Gonna be a problem there if ever they do go straight directly to the zone. They got to deal with Boom Esports, but in the process, well, I mean, they're not really too far apart from Sem9 alongside Alter Ego Eris. I mean, they're just separated by almost like 400 meters, so soon enough they might just see each other there. But in the process, though, they are taking their time, you know, getting those vehicles here to ensure that rotation will come out smoothly.
Sure enough, and on top of that, RQ definitely have some massive performances back in Miramar. But then again, we want to see a whole lot more when it comes down to these matches with Wrangle, since, you know, we're going back and forth between these two rounds, and RQ hasn't really been the most consistent, and they're already setting up by the bridges, hoping to gatekeep teams like APG. So they're absolutely cooking something that we need to see maybe in a couple of minutes. But for now, with Esports, they're settling in with themselves, playing Planet Rosal as per usual. But then again, they don't really have to move too far off. They could even stay in Rosal if they want to. So we'll have to see on the next update of the zone. But for the majority of the teams, they're comfortable where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of separation here. I mean, the closest that we have probably is Cellcom Digital Alliance and 4 Tribes here. just 100 meters apart, but till then, it's still a pretty hefty margin. Well, fortunately, though, we only got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left before stage 1 decides to close out. And that is definitely going to be looking to be a pretty compact zone here just by stage 1. Overall, after all, we've only seen one casualty happen, and that was between Triberamasi alongside Alter Ego Ares. And yeah, I mean, you've still got, what, 14 squads to go. Definitely going to be a pretty long game. Probably going to go down to the wire later on here, Contra.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that one. And the good news for Alter Ego in between that altercation was that they didn't even lose a single member. Like, one could have actually easily led up because AST wasn't exactly in the poised position to fully trade back, so to speak, and then not really having the right gears to kick things off wasn't exactly the best benefactor for the side of AST. So they will pretty much be stalled. So they started off with 25 points alongside with Homeboys, and now it allows Homeboys to also look for an overtake in this round.
Definitely now. Take it slow just a little bit. Bit of information relayed here, but does it come to a point of contact? Not exactly too certain. Now, eyes on the price though for instead of SEM9 alongside MVKE, because they do have to deal with 152 there as well in the process. But in regards to the rotation here, only Team Secret alongside Alter Ego Ares will actually come off late as the zones decides to close in. After all, we still got, what, a minute before stage 1 decides to come to an end.
Sure enough, I mean, some teams, they also do love tanking out the blue zone just to ensure their safety net, especially those coming in from the islands. Meanwhile, Vikings, yesterday, they've been able to really secure some consistent placement points, so to speak. But then again, I want to see that explosive side of Vikings esports, which they usually have been able to implement, like, full charge onto other teams who are in the midst of a battle, just being that nuisance of a third party from time to time. But this time, back in day 1, they were changing up the script. They said, you know what, let's play a little bit more strategically, let's find ourselves in the most ideal position, and just by doing so, they've been consistently top 4.
Uh-oh, clash now here happening from the side of Vampire Esports, and coming on by, you are up against the number 2 squad here so far inside of this tournament. Better make sure you're playing your cards right. Shots after shots, fired back and forth. No blood not dropped, not just yet until we get to see Zoil. Now here, crawling on the ground. No never stays alive. Only one more bullet to connect for the set of Vampire Esports. They don't go for the chase down, they go for the nades. And finally it does connect now with Red Bull. Finds 3 Fuss away. Dealing with the hardest player now. This should be the perfect time for Vampire Esports to strike.
Alpha Gaming there being shredded apart. Doc with only 1 HP left. Won't be tapped out, so it's only down to Ease. He's got to bail out of the situation, but no, he is trying to fight out of his way, and he spots out 2 members of Vampire Esports wrapping around the wing, but he is fully occupied. There's just no room for him to breathe, and Vampire Esports will take them apart.
Wow. Such a disaster there for the set of Alpha Gaming, but now we move back to another possible casualty here this time around. It's going to be RRQ meeting the Homeboys. Offside control here on the bridge side. Oh, shots fired, but no angle, not just yet. Oh, double shot to the face though. Able to tag him down to half. Not really enough to put him down to the ground, not just yet, but at least information's relayed. He does have a vehicle to play with, so this should be the Homeboys here backing away. But Par still connect. It doesn't matter. RRQ in control.
He's just so accurate on those long-range shots, and just like that, he just absolutely choked out whatever possibilities for that members of Homeboys. And now here comes the Securance coming in from Nepeko. Well, I never knew that he knows Japanese anyway, so a great work coming in from the old out of RRQ. But they're absolutely racking up points after points. Homeboys right now only left with 1. I'm not too sure whether if Simba can contribute a whole lot more, as he's not even allowed to bypass that bridge.
Not at all. A lot of gatekeeping involved here. Ori Tribes actually put themselves into the mixture as well, into the side of RRQ. I mean, Void Donkey is going to be there on the other side. Same goes for the side of Seedall. Now on the feed, we do get to see some casualty here between Team Secret and SEM9. And so far, Team Secret having the best lap out of it. Team 52 wants to put themselves into the mixture as well. So much things going on here, and everyone has their eyes on SEM9.
Well, Team Secret is just so good at keeping all these teams at bay, having some of all these choke points to really catch onto those members of SEM9. And right now, Doc on the other end, spots another one out. So they got full intel on all these members of Sem9. So they are just absolutely gating off this entire area of the Pavka. But eventually they also have to make a deeper move into the zone at the very same time. So Sem9, they play it safe. They get themselves a compound of their own just to hold out for the meantime, since there's just plenty of teams surrounding them at the moment.
Yeah, it's too much going on here. After all, that's what you get if ever, you know, we did see the round start off with only one casualty. 14 squads pushed through onto stage 1, and get to see now. So far, 13 more to go. On the rotation, though, you get to see on the map as well. Vampire Esports going to be late there, coming from the western side of the map. Northern side is going to be preoccupied. Pretty much everything's going to be preoccupied. Fortunately, the zone doesn't come too much of a, you know, doesn't become too erratic and volatile. And on the feed, you get to see Alter Ego Air is actually dominating with 5 eliminations here. Definitely going to be the fact you want to watch out for as we progress here towards this very round.
Looking so much cleaner from in comparison to the rounds from yesterday. And Outer Ear areas, they love playing by this hillside. They know it like the back of their hands. So they're absolutely feeling super comfortable taking this spot now, flushing away those members of 52 Esports. They want no part in this business. Well, Rosemary climbs up the hillside, looking for a challenge. But if he goes even further than that, there is another squad lying in the wait. So he's got to be absolutely careful about his current position, because Vampire Esports is arriving from the far west.
It may be from the left, right, back, front, center. It is just casualty galore here. It's out of the zone. Now, as it closes out, sprays on by. Rosemary 9-11. Not able to get the shot to connect enough to be able to put him down to the ground, but that is quick of a statement. And he's trying to do a lot of things here. And quite fortunately, there's not going to be too much of squads that he has to worry about. Vampire Esports was able to slip by, coming from the west, now able to rotate here on the southern side. So Alter Ego Airs definitely has to spawn in range for themselves.
Now, meanwhile, we're having 2 Indonesian squads going toe-to-toe. Void Donkey hoping to flush away the rest of the members of RRQ, adapting into the farmhouses. Well, they do have their hovercraft to tank some of all these hits for the moment. But GM's not, I don't think it's going to last for too long if he's going to stay in there. So he's got to eventually step into the houses as well. Zeta now on the warehouse, finding a little glimpse of other squads on the outskirts. Sem9 had not many options available, so they were thinking about, you know, taking 1/4 of the outskirts of the farm. So there's just going to be noisy neighbors where they are just going to be back and forth trades, but no bodies hit the ground just yet. So they get a spot over onto you, Miko, a.k.a. Mika from Malaysia, as Razak is also getting spotted from Todak.
Yeah, that's the problem, you know, when you get to see a very compactful circle, every shot you fire alerts a lot of the players around the vicinity. Now Alter Ego Airs once again here back against the wall. They got to find the means to get some definition here up on the front side, but they meet the players of Team Secret now and don't exactly know what's going on here, Contra, but one thing for sure, Alter Ego Airs, they're not really feeling it as MGN Vikings put themselves into the mixture. Bad News not going to be out. Alter Ego Airs has one more player to rely on, the last hope here for the set of AE.
Oh, they got absolutely caught out, and Alva has got to make it work out no matter the cost, and he's looking to trade for some points before he bows out. Perhaps there's a couple of all these first aids that he could actually loot out from, but he's going in for his vehicles just to get deeper in the zone. But there's realistically no point where he's not going to be bumping into somebody else. If he goes in for a wide wrap, there's still Boom Esports waiting in the wings.
Circle now here shifts towards the outer side once again. It's going to be favoring the players Void Donkeys alongside RQ and Sem9. Kodak, though, will be caught on the middle side, and they're going to have a lot of opportunities all around. The question is, so do you take it? After all, there's only going to be 30 seconds before the zone starts to close out once again. Everything soon enough about to come out erratic. And overall, it's just casualty galore once again. You just better make sure, you know, when you take your gunfights, all covered up from the back to the front, to the left, to the right, because there's definitely going to be a lot of third-party going on.
Sure enough. Just a little bit of standstill where we're getting the calm before the storm. Because realistically, if you look at the terrains, there's a lot of open grounds that is somewhat unplayable for a certain squad to actually even get any cover of, which is why there's just plenty of distance in between. For Vampire Esports, they have to rely on that rock in the hard place where they're just forming up these vehicles as bunkers for temporary measure. and they're just looking to trade right back up to the hillside where they spot out members from the side of MVKE. And that's going to be one taken down from the side of 52 as Void Donkey finds a collateral, and over the top, it's Yumeko knocking down on Trang by the tower.
A beautiful overview here for the set of Void Donkey. So far, rightfully in control of this compound. And once again, a lot of opportunities, and they are surely taking this one up the notch. It's just all going to come down to getting the connection, but no from the back. RQ puts himself into the mixture. Finds Gakor out here for the set of Void Donkey. Down onto the ground. That's going to be alerting the rest of the composition here for the set of Void Donkey. Question is, though, will the life prolong here? Not exactly the same statement there for the set of Alter Ego Airs, as they're going to be the next squad eliminated.
For what it's worth, I mean, Alter Ego did manage to farm a total of 6 points in return, so that's not too shabby as compared to some of the rounds that they had yesterday. But Juke, he drives straight into the trap of Vampire Esports. They've already set up for such a long time, and Jiki, he's just booking his way into the farm and hoping that he does survive. Well, 966 will be able to snack one coming in from the side of Vikings Esports. Vikings, they're getting themselves in hot waters right now, and here comes the grenade. Toss over to 52, and Doc will not be able to last for far too long. But it is what it is. It's only a point for Team Secret.
Yeah, quite unfortunate there. The round persists, though. Now, Vikings are caught in the middle side. Smoke's going to be deployed. Don't really want to deal with the casualty here so far because Boom Esports, but they do have the elevation as well. But for the set of Boom Esports, though, you do take that overview. You're going to be dealing with T-Del alongside the process as well. Frank, though, on the flip side, going to go for the spray down. Finds my boy. 888 down to the ground. That's going to be finding the players of T-Del here. Once again, pure pressure. The one is also at their back as well, so they don't really have any options rather than to just go for the commit. And now, Viking closing up to this as well. Watch the nade. Eyes on the nade. Pops it true. No! Oh! Go back. Punish is on. Vikings is down. And overall, no sense of definition. Who can come out on top here?
And Vikings, they wanted to form that choke point by the corner with the blue zone coming in, but he cooked that nade far too long, and now he pays the price for it. But yet again, it is Boom Esports that comes in crashing through as the third party. They were vultures to rain on the parade of not only ComDG Alliance, but also taking out the entirety of the Vikings.
Now the round persists once again. How much more can you bag? Vikings is out. Kodak could be next. Boom Esports in control here on the mid side. Frenzy, they do got vehicles here to play around with as well. Let's rely on that. Smokes into deployed. Coverage. Given. They're gonna go for the rotation here. They got plenty of space to work with. They don't really have to go for the engagement, not just here Contra.
Yeah, they're just trying to bait each other out just to see if they could find that full-on contact 9. Just hoping to at least wiggle a little bit more of that space. Boom Esports being denied a little room, but they found that opening to just drive right into the zone. Now, Toadout is going to be on the outskirts instead, so what exactly will they form up this time around? Boom Esports, they took out the Compel, and Toadout, they're looking to race them for it, and here comes Frantizi and Kenny going in tandem as they're looking to secure the other side of the compound instead, and now full force catches out Mango. Great work coming from Major.
It's true. Nades flying on by Kodak. Blessed Boom, 2 nades flying on from the other side of the map. Who gets the connection? Kodak 9 finds 1 though from the side of Boom Esports. Has to fall back away. 0 looking to get the trade. Sprays on by with an M4. But the shot's not really connecting. Goes for the commitment and the sprays continues, but that's going to be enough for 1 player before drives to put himself into the mixture and secure the elimination.
That's crazy. I mean, he just shot it from downtown. They weren't even wary of that. And right now, here comes 4 tries, still looking for a whole lot more to crash the gates of Vampire Esports. But the problem is, Vampire Esports isn't exactly weakened from all these kind of altercations that they were in. And now they will be bombarded with that grenade. Perfect lob coming from 4 tries, still looking for a whole lot more. And it is about time with the entire squad set that way.
Oh, did you strike at the weakest? But is it gonna pay off? Vampire Esports, last 2 players alive. 4 tribe closing up the distance. 4 complete players, 1 down to the ground, but the reset will come through. Another nade will get clicked here for Lazarus. Is it gonna be enough though? Finds 1 connected, not enough damage. Gooey is already out of the round. Now 4 tries to go for the invasion from the bottom side. Everything is in control. Lazarus down to the ground. L-A, never mind, it's all over. It is going to be 4 tribes here on domination as they go for the run, closing it up now here for Vampire Esports.
Wow, 4 tribes is just on another level right now. Their reaction speed is just insane. And that coverage coming in has just about done just enough to take out the final member of Vampire Esports with that leap of faith. Now we go back into Voin Donkey's territory inside of the farm. It's a gridlock inside of those territories where all the other teams were playing over on the outskirts. Meanwhile, it is all the teams by the North Point that actually secures majority of all these points, and perhaps this benefits 4 tribes because now it's going to be an easy access to get right into the zone. Meanwhile, Voin Donkey, they got that firm hole and they're poised in that position.
All gonna come down to this. The rogue player of 7-9, the duo of 52. No squad has the complete composition here. All down by 1. So far, eyes on the odds here for set of RQ. Looking to be favored here on this round. 4 tribes though finds one. T24 next with 1 player there from set of RQ. And now the cavalry arrives, but shouldn't matter.
4 tribes just playing it slowly. They do want to allow a little bit more of that space to be created. They did manage to catch out in the Pekko by the corner. Sharp shots coming in from the lock. Meanwhile, RQ, they're kind of been stuck in between because of that advancement over on the outskirts, and now drops right into the territory of Voin Donkey, getting caught in between 2 sides of the crosser, and they are just about to at least recover their health bar for the meantime. 7-9 unfortunately didn't manage to get much done, but despite that, they still managed to make it into the top 6. While all these firepower hits just overwhelming, where both boys just got to defend themselves, and I'm surprised that Simba's still alive after such a long time.
Oh my days. Now the round continues once again. Voin Donkey on the prowl. Most likely close out this game. 4 tribes still not backing down though. Voin Donkey though finds Simba away. And now it cuts down the composition to the last 3 batters remaining. Is it gonna be Team 52, 4 tribes, or Voin Donkey? So far, it is 4 tribes here. Looking to get the run out of this. Team 52 though. Last player here. 1 second to the last player as well, alongside Manzi. Throws some shots to connect. Not too certain if that was the brightest of play. Not able to accumulate anything off that. It's total reset.
This is the first time ever the newly promoted Malaysian team gets to play in a top 3 battle. And we'll have to see whether there's going to be a chance for them to be the torn in the flesh for both sides of 4 tribes as well as Voin Donkey. Voin Donkey honestly don't really have to do too much for this current moment because they're still within the zone and they have the better parties defending this ground rather than to go out over on the open grounds. And I guess it's all about playing for time right now for stage 6 to close up into the center, and then they look to expand their wings from there onwards. So 4 tribes, a little risky though. If they were to actually make their way across, they might risk getting clipped by Voin Donkey.
For side of Voin Donkey though, all they got to do is wait it out. Just by looking at the terrain, it does favor them quite a lot. For side of Team 52 though, they're just out on plain ground, relying on this new shed. Don't really have a lot of cover to work with. And let's say 9 seconds left before we get to see the zone comes to a close out once again. Where is it going to be headed? This would matter quite a lot here, Contra.
It definitely does, and we're seeing some exchanges of the nades fall true. No connections thus far onto Razak, but they're forming up a smoke trail, trying to challenge 4 tribes directly. Then I'm not too sure if that's going to be the best play possible. I mean, they could just take it slow, and now all the teams are within the zone. 52 still remaining very elusive. If they choose the right opportunity to strike, they might be able to really convert this to a potential win. And here we go, first down, landed by 4 tribes as it depletes a member of Voin Donkey, but they manage to finally infiltrate their building.
True, 4 tribes gets the confirmation. As we thought that the odds are really here for the side of 4 tribes. Like once again, now the equalizer number here are 2v2 all across the board. Voin Donkey don't gonna be able to get the reset with Jack. It's gonna be enough. Once again, 4 tribes has always been on this run, despite the fact that the zone favors towards them. They always go for the assault. So far, they're back at it. Stalemate once again, but T24 still doesn't want to give up. Nice shot to connect, one more to go. And now Team 52 only has one more player to rely on.
I believe that player is still alive with only a tick of health left, and oh, that was so close. Perhaps he's already found that confirmation in that sense. 52 down to one member right at this moment. Boing Donkey, they're not gonna give their spot away. 4 tribes in a dire situation at the very same time. They've already expanded a lot of their resources, so they're not having much left, but there definitely is a little bit more room for them to play around the far eastern corner of the map if that zone actually shifts past stage 7. So Boing Donkey, their hands might be forced right now, and they got no idea. Kidobu is all the way back, so if they were to move outwards, this could spell doom for the rest of Boing Donkey. So this is just a little bit of a Mexican standoff between all of these 2 teams. T24, they do use the high ground with a little bit more of that vantage point to keep the rest of Boing Donkey at bay.
Sustainability is definitely at stake here for Boing Donkey. Pain goes for the last player there from Seattle Team 52, because it's safe to say so far, Forge Thrives. It's definitely leading the pacing on defensive side. Oh, one player inside of Boing Donkey goes for the clap. Big mistake, down, drop to the ground. Last player inside of the smoke, sprays on by, nades flying on. T24, the cavalry arrives to confirm the second to the last player of Boing Donkey. It's all going to come down to the corner here to go for the clutch. All alone now. You had the numbers on your side. It was a 3v2. Dropped down to a 2v1.
And this is just down to wire right now. Kidobu's got to find an opening right now, and perhaps from that angle, he might be able to spot Fallock right over onto that corner of the card. T24 also watching towards that direction, and now all eyes over onto 52. Gature, final remaining member, trying to at least squeeze some room to actually play that out. And unfortunately, I mean, that call to rush in with that vehicle didn't exactly pay off, and now he's currently stranded by the very far corner, and he needs to make it into the zone as well. So Boing Donkey, they just might be choked out by the play zone.
Out on the mid side, nades gonna be flying in once again. 2 nades here on the right side of the map. Zone here closing up. Where Thrives don't gotta do anything at all. And now they go for the spray. Gakor finds himself out in the open. Now the confirmation's there. They go for the strike. Safe to say, dominated here. Fort Thrives controlling the last part of this round.
A huge resurgence for 4 tribes to finally deal themselves a chicken dinner here in day 2 to kickstart their reign. And there's definitely a whole lot more with an immense 12-corner finish of eliminations. And that was just astounding work coming from the boys of 4 tribes.
Crazy run overall. That's really one way to start things off here with your day. 4 Thrives, able to make it happen. Congratulations to you, sir. I mean, you got to see it there, Contra. I mean, once the latter stage starts to kick in, 4 Thrives, he had the option to take it slow, but no, they want to scrape off every elimination points that is around the vicinity. And on the clash here for Boing Donkey, notably, they don't have the numbers. They knew it. And what they did, played all aggressively, put them down one by one.
They absolutely left no crumbs, man. Like, they were having that perfect positioning onto funneling all these teams by the outskirts, and they just took it one step at a time. And every single time that they were in a confrontation, they outrightly won it, especially when we saw the ones that were going up against Empire Esports. Once that's cleared out, they managed to get so many of all these stocks to, once again, go in for even more of that frag. Meanwhile, Boing Donkey, they were in that perfect position inside of those compounds, but they didn't really make full use by extending it into different directions instead. So it allowed 4 tribes to claim the outskirts territory, and eventually with the zone shifting outwards, there was just no way that they could outfight 4 tribes.
Yeah, I mean, gunfight's definitely precise. Control of the pacing, the aggression. They were definitely the players initiating the whole conversation up against the rest of the composition. Able to get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, on the trail, it is going to be Vampire Esports, Boing Donkey, and Team 52. They were able to sustain so pretty much long. They're not really exactly for the set of Vampire Esports, but they were able to lay out a few composition here and there as well. Boing Donkey, I mean, they had it all. You know it, Contra. They definitely had it all. It's just that they decided to go for the push there, especially that 2v2. Decided to pop out of the car, got caught on a pinch, and the rest was history there for the set of 4 tribes.
Yeah, and overall, look at the rest of the pack as well. I think they've definitely shown some of all these improvements coming into day 2, especially for Vampire Esports, on how they've been a little bit more proactive and looking for all these big fights, and they managed to convert a few before, of course, getting overwhelmed by some of the members of 4 tribes at the very same time. Just look at the damage disparity between the two. That's 2012 damage in comparison with Point Donkey that played a lot more defensively, where I guess in this case the best defense wasn't exactly the best offense for Point Donkey, despite, you know, there was certain glimpse of advancements coming in to try to single out their targets, but it was no match for Fallout Fizz. He is the MVP of the round.
It's safe to say that it all really started off that, remember the clash there with 2 teams, and the one player from the set of 4 tribe was able to get the snipe, and then once they were able to close out the distance, it was continuous amount of action there that 4 tribe was able to lead. I can't stop glazing 4 tribes here. The way that they displayed this round was definitely immaculate on the aggressive side.
Yeah, and it's just perfectly displayed on how the dynamics work all together. And we finally get to see Melna to be joining in the ranks of top performing players out there. He definitely has evolved, back then wearing glasses, and now he's just looked like a Korean idol right now. But of course, let's not take the glory away from 4 tribes. I mean, these two work in tandem to really bring the pain to the rest of the lobby. And Trang, surprisingly, also making it into the top 3 as well with those tribulation points, just besting Mela with that dose of damage.
I mean, definitely, you know, standouts here for them, but once we're over 23 total points here for the set of 4 tribes, you look at the disparity between them and Vampire Esports. 9 for the set of Vampire Esports, 8 for the side of Donkeys, and 52 alongside the Vikings Esports. And this will come by here, Contra. Definitely, surely, no questions asked, on paper, a round rightfully owned by the set of 4 tribes.
Sure enough, and if you take a look at all the other names, they're not anywhere close to their margins at all. But what I'm happy to see is that more of these teams were very involved and just really go for all these fights after fights, where from the get-go we're already seeing them getting activated, where usually in the lobby you see an average pointer of 3 to 4. You see it's a high point 8-pointer finish for team 58, Point Donkey, and so many more names out there. So the race is definitely on, and I believe these teams are starting to feel the pressure.
Yeah, definitely, man. Now, future player here is going to be Trang himself. Longest elimination. I thought that player from 4 tribe got the longest elimination, man, but Trang able to make it happen as well. 7 in total, almost 6,000 in healing, 58 knockouts overall. I mean, Trang was definitely involved with a lot of these gunfights.
Yeah, these players are looking even sharper with the 16 headshots across the board as well. So it's always great to see that they are improving every step of the way. And because of this chicken dinner, 4 tribes will find themselves sitting at the 3rd spot with a surge of 13 placements just with this win alone.
Yep, plus 13. Yeah, that market right there is absolute cinema, bro.
It definitely is. When we take a look at the rest of the field as well, I mean, that kind of ties them out with MVKE at the very same time, and then we take a look at the midfield at the very same time. RRQ find themselves a little bit more improvements, and now besting out AZ as well as AST, which we kind of saw that fight when AST did manage to out-trade Alter Ego, so that's where they will feel a little slump for the moment. We hope to see them bounce back later on. But 52 Esports, they get themselves back into the top 16, and I believe when we move into this final page, Alter Ego, those 6 frags definitely supplements them to get closer to the top 18.
They've done more there. I mean, they showed a lot of promise, especially up against the Clash here, up against Private Air Massey, able to make it happen. But unfortunately for them, once you got to see the rotation, it actually put them down to a pretty tough tall order. You know, when they came on later on rotation, they didn't really have any range to work with, and they just got caught in the middle. Well, unfortunate for them. Well, quite fortunately for us though, and for the rest of the competition actually as well here, Contra. We still got what, 5 more rounds to go. Definitely a lot of time for more vengeance here, Contra.
True enough. I mean, it's just brewing as we speak of it, and then we're gonna get another group involved at the very same time, so we'll finally get to see Group C taking part as well. So that being said though, super exciting to see what will go down. So make sure you guys don't turn this channel off, because we're about to come back for a whole lot more chicken dinners to go. See you in a bit.
Step into the ring. 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 Step into the ring.
Lights out. I got feeling, but I can't shout. I got reasons, but I'm all out. No rest for the weekend. Give me what I want. Never get enough. I'm never giving up. Give me what I want. Turn on, get ready for it. Stay strong. I'm here for it. Don't stop. No rest for the weekend. Turn it up again, I lose control. Give me everything, it's what I want. Best I've ever been, I see the glow. Feel it deep within my soul.
There's just one particular reason why I like working with Ruthless, man. Short breaks, because we don't want to wait on any action once again. No, here joining on death, my name is Warden. Alongside with me is Contra. We're definitely going to be your definite casters here for today. Contra, we got to see 4 tribes actually bagging their first winner chicken dinner here inside of this tournament, and much more so over. It wasn't just a lopsided one at all. In fact, odds was against them, but they were able to make it happen.
Yeah, they fought like they've always had 4 members right behind their backs every single moment, and that's just showing the prowess of their gunfights in total. So 4 tribes, glad to see them back, and this is also a map that they definitely show a whole lot of great maneuvers on. But 4 tribes, after that win, they will take a break, and right now we will display to you Group A versus Group C. So we'll have another interesting fight coming in from all these teams, and the last time around we're seeing BTR doing a whole lot. Now they're making a return. Can they finally nail that chicken dinner?
Well, yeah, it's safe to say. I'm expecting them to do exactly that. I'm going to be remaining consistent with my words, and you back it up as well. They got the numbers, they got the prowls. I'm going to be going for BTR for this round here, Contra.
Man, I had the same thought, but I want to keep things interesting since you've already picked that. I'm gonna go for something absolutely different. I think NEPX definitely have shown some great strides ever since that, they've been able to qualify for the PNNC, and from that point onwards, they've always been around the top for radar. So NEPX definitely hoping to rack up even more here in Miramar, and we've seen a lot of the display of how they've been able to really make it so cleanly into the top four all the time. So it's definitely something that I don't want to, of course, count them out for. So T2K is going to be production's pick, where they've been able to also secure a chicken dinner from yesterday's run.
But we'll see about it. Those are 3 different predictions here, 3 different banners. It's just all going to come down to whether an Indonesian team or an Nepalese team will actually come through here, Contra. Regardless, it doesn't matter. It's all going to come down to this. Ladies and gentlemen, soon enough, we're going to be heading straight towards the next round. Contra, we're heading straight to Miramar.
That's right. I am just stoked about it. This is my favorite map. I mean, some people like complain, hey, Miramar can be, like dry like the desert where you don't really have action from minute one. When you put the best players around the world in the same lobby, that changes everything, right? So yesterday, I think like some of the fastest rounds were actually in Miramar, where it didn't end up till stage 9, where it swings directly in the center. You just have full-on fights till it ends around stage 7, stage 8. So I'm definitely excited to see what they actually bring this time around.
Yeah, we'll see about it here. It's definitely a larger map than Wrangler, and I gotta agree, on some certain notes as well. I got the people. Definitely Miramar does involve a lot of stalemate as well, but it all really going to come down to the flight path. What fortunately we don't get to keep on guessing as we're heading straight to the round itself here. Ladies and gentlemen, round number 2 here for the number 2 of this tournament, and we are live in track here to Miramar. Looking like we're going to be striking from the north side of the map here and heading straight towards the bottom left.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much a fair trade for everybody to really get to where they need to be. Even if they want Campo Militar, if they really want to start super duper safe by the edge of the map, they can do so. I think Homeboys is already considering that option on the table. Same goes to another Malaysian squad called AZ Slumber. So AZ Slumber, inside of Miramar, they're also just like NEPX, where they've been able to really shine as compared to all these other old dogs in the scene, which definitely have shown that they have all the rights to be there. AZ is starting to really plant their foot as one of the hottest prospects in Malaysia since their promotion.
Well, definitely going to hold on to that now. Take a look at the drop here. It is going to be sliced up pretty much evenly. There's going to be some early drop, though, from the set of AZ. And they're going to be playing on the Campo Militar. Well, for the side of the Homeboys, they are going to be reverberating around the same side as well. But this mid-map here looks to be pretty congested. Wouldn't be so suppressed as well if Lab and Dead or Picado is going to be preoccupied. Maybe some teams as well gliding towards Kumakara. Regardless, it is, just a map that a lot of these players, a lot of these squads are just so familiar with. El Pozo is going to be preoccupied over the side of DX. So that's going to be all for himself. But you take a look at the circle, though. Oh, my days.
Whoa, wow.
For the set of AZ and Homeboys, they're going to be pretty happy with this one.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be having a wide smile on their face. Not so much for NEPX, though. They immediately succumb to a little bit more of a fire coming in from Alter Ego. And it seems like every single minute from the get-go, Alter Ego's always got a challenger right in their city. And they've got them all boxed in, too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just them not being able to catch a break at all, or it's just them, choosing this type of situation. Regardless, though, seems to be that they're going to be in control of the situation. A bit of shotguns are involved for the side of NEPX, but for the side of Alter Egos, they got 2 ARs already. That is going to be the AKs we are rocking in. Did you have a DMR as well here for the side of NEPX, but definitely not really the amount of choice you want to hold on to. So Alter Ego Eris definitely in control of the situation. It's just all going to come down to when's the closeout going to be.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. I mean, Rex with the SLR, I mean, he's only got limited bullets to also fire out on those rounds, so he's kind of taking the brunt of the damage. Now he got to play ring around with Rosie against Rosemary. Not going to stand a chance at all, and it's just going to be quick words, but there is an M4 shot from up above. It's going to be Domain out on the open, and he's bringing what? A Winchester to play? Okay, he's connecting the shots as well. Oh, he almost took out Domain.
Oh my days. Alter Ego Eris pushing through. Definitely going to be claiming his property now, pushing back the players to NEPX away. Now, one player, Precious, is going to be there all across town, while Domain on the flip side here About to lose his property. Despicable. Bro, this guy's unlucky, man. Has a bow, has a shotgun, doesn't have anything to hold his ground. Rosemary alongside that, he's going to be closing up the distance already. He has to hope for something better. Finally picks up nothing at all, and he has his back here with nothing at all to support him. Yep, Alder Igor is now here closing up the distance, shutting him down. Last player alive for the set of NEPX. Precious gets taken away as well. NEPX will be the first squad eliminated.
Man, I don't mean to jinx these boys, man. They're really fighting for their lives, but they just get weapon diff every step of the way. Like, we saw the SLR, we saw, like, they were on, like, all these scrappy guns. I mean, it wasn't exactly going to be fruitful when you're challenging, arguably, the former world champions. So, out there, EU Aries, they take those at any given moment. And another massive 4-pointer being won without any form of casualties. I mean, they're absolutely on the roll now. 2 games in a row.
Wasn't even a gun that they were that the second to last player that was able to grab. It was a bow and an arrow. How unlucky can you be? But hey, on the feed though, Team Secret does find himself in a bit of a tussle up against T2K. Well, Dak 2.0 here is going to be holding on to the top side, but hey, gets caught off guard by one player on a higher elevation. Janky does get that information as well. Finds one. It's going to be an MT490 for Center Jaya. Looking like he really wants to go for the chase down with Janky. Precision marksmanship, oh, ever so precise, able to get him done. Now that's going to be 2 players here crawling for the side of T2K.
So crispy on that AUG 4X scope as well. I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous, right? T2K definitely has shown that, hey, we can afford to actually trade back. I mean, now that they lost Ajaya, what exactly is the plan right now? Because they're boxed in together alongside with Team Secret. Now there's going to be Doc going for the direct challenge up against Mimi as well, trying to close in the distance as Doc brings in the barrel to play. He's marking onto Rules at the same time. Rules on his return back into RIS does some damage, but only good for 1. Jicky will be able to retrieve his teammates at the get-go, and this is Mimi winning out the trade, so Team Secret will inevitably lose one of the members from the top side of the map, and Jicky hoping that he could actually draw an exchange, holding Mimi hostage, and he does connect the shot.
Oh my days, Team Secret. Casualties over to casualties, able to recover from it. Unfortunate for the side of T2K, not even a blood claimed at all. No reaping from the side of T2K will be involved into this round. As Team Secret able to claim the first 4 as well. So far, big definition here coming from the squads of Team Secret alongside Alter Ego Ares. But we've seen a lot of fads so far that, you know, some of these squads, they can start off pretty strongly, but sustainability is not really part of the topic later on. But we take a look at the circle though. It is still going to be them here pretty much involved in it. Only the players of Todak alongside Talons and Flash is going to be late on rotation. So much for a set of Talon and Todak, but the rest going to be sitting pretty inside of the circle.
Yeah, it's pretty neutral in that sense, where they would be able to at least traverse through plenty of all these spaces still here in stage 1. And Homeboys, I mean, them starting off on the very far corner of the map, they're taking things ever so slowly. And right in between them is a member of ASIA lurking around. So ASIA, they're hoping to hold firm onto that compound, as this is the direct center of the zone. And we've seen plenty of times before ASIA having good achievements playing around the north point of Miramar. But now, with a lot of attention being drawn towards this area, starting off with Homeboys, they first and foremost will have to win this duel, and they're already losing 2 members out. Limp Boy, he just moved down the stairways into the crosshairs of Baby, making it look a little bit easy for the man to just pick him off. So I guess now, with a little bit of exchange, ASIA still can actually look for recovery. Back to 3 men to go.
Yeah, quite unfortunate. You had a pump shotgun, but the other side had a semi-automatic S12K, so hey, definitely not going to be favoring you at most. Going to call for a reset. On the feed as well, though, on the contrary, there is going to be a clash happening between RRQ and the Homeboys, and pushing through here. Homeboy still not going to be done at all. They still want to go for the fight up against the ASIA. Big old spray down here from the side of Nikki. Not enough shots to put one down to the ground. Going to call for a reset there. One player from the side of ASIA closes out the distance, but in the process, no, Vampire Esports gets eliminated by Team 52. But the action continues now. Nikki here, S12K bounty hands. Can't really go for the peek out. One player from the back holding out that lane out. Homeboy still can offer a pinch soon enough. The nade's gonna be flying on by as well. The Mollis comes true. Nades galore, utilities all over the place, and one player will get dropped down from the side of ASI 8.
Oh, he's falling so low, and he's still hanging by the tread. It maybe he definitely knows that he's just by the corner. He's just gonna lob one to secure it. Now down to Tai Long. Tai Long, he's clutch moments before, but can he do it again? He's now withering down those members of ASI and now bringing in the SOKs just to signal a little bit of warning. He heard those footsteps, but he cannot fully place it just now. Zypha now leading the pack, and Tai Long still has one more grenade left in hand. He's just gonna toss it right over, but misses the mark. And that's gonna be a sticky grenade being tossed right back at him at the very same time. Tai Long just bouncing all around and just playing a little decoy up against Zypha. Is he gonna finally nail it in the back? And it's gonna be it. ASI finally wins the duel.
Yeah, able to get it done. ASI squad from Pakistan able to make it work out. That is gonna be directly 4 points to their name. After all, they came from they are at the bottom of the board. For them to have that start, not really the most flawless start after all. I mean, they did lose one player in the process, but hey, you take what you are given. And we move back here towards Bigatron by Vitality. That's going to be a free kill for Federalis. And now it'll talk about the Terminator of the whole scene here. BTR, ASA can't catch or break, and what more? It is going to be Bigatron by Vitality putting themselves into the mixture.
Swarming in like vultures as well. I mean, there's just no room for Baby to really play this, but he's just remaining elusive by the stacks of boxes that he's currently hiding at. So, thankfully enough, the rest of BTR didn't really face check it for the moment, so Coast is probably clear for now. But I believe Federalis have definitely heard some of all these shots, and he's just going to be swinging directly back to Baby, and now 1v1 duel. And it seems like Baby's getting a better trade. He gets the knock out to Federalis.
Oh, this is a crucial kill, but no! Oh my days! Razy for the clutch! Save! Federalis stays alive inside of the game. My days, you saw the eagerness. You got to see the defeat. It was Federalis down to the ground. You want to confirm the kill, but no. Razy is there to save the day.
Oh yeah, the classic bait and switch from BTR. And thank goodness he did not manage to take out Federalis, or else, I mean, he won't be even getting all too much involved in this map. It's just begun. Take a look at this. I mean, in less than 10 minutes, how many teams are already out? Just goes to show how feisty these players really are inside of this Mid-Miramar map. And we're just about getting started here in Stage 2. Talent Esports now getting a firm hold onto the church grounds inside of Graveyard, while Alter Ego Ares will be looking to get themselves some first high elevation. And there's already Dog waiting on top! And Badru had no idea he was planted there all along.
Team Secret confidently able to start things off here on this round with eliminations, looking to reap away with a lot more. Alter Ego Airs on the other side, sprays on by Virus. Not really there's a shot there. And if if you're Team Secret, you don't really want to go for the overcommitment not just yet. And in the process, though, Alter Ego Airs has had to deal with Team Secret and had to deal with another squad in the process, and that's going to be them trampling down to the ground, caught in the pinch. Now we take a look at the zone here, and I gotta say, Contra, we thought that Miramar and projectedly Miramar going to be dry as hell, but nope. Compact actions up ahead here, bro.
Not at all, which is why I love watching all these Miramar games, especially in the pro scene where you just have some insane long-range shots coming from all these teams, and at the very same time, all this close-quarter combat is always going to be down to the wire at the very same time. And you saw Alter Ego, despite their strong start, they are getting clipped by multiple teams from different directions, and now these Saviors pretty much sandwiched in between at the same time, and to deal with the situation up against the rest of 52 Esports. He's got the beautiful grenade, BX. Now charging right through, I believe this to be Lamborghini without a name, and he's only down to 1 HP. It's an easy trade coming from Torres Boo to find 2 members of the Savior.
You start to fight, you can't sustain it. Couldn't finish what you started. Team 52 had to come down from a revive, and now Paradin's now gonna be all alone. SLK in his hands behind the smoke. Does he decide to go for the push now? The nades flies on by once again. Torres Boo's gonna be down to the ground. Manzi all alone for the side of Team 52. Nade once again getting cooked up. Battle of nades. Can get the right trajectory. Falls a bit too short there for the side of Manzi. Paradin still looking to retaliate. Looking like he wants to go for the pickup.
He should be able to do so. There's some stray shots coming from the far end as well. So Paradin's got to quickly wrap up this fight. He's going to allow them to really go in for a save. And Helton making it rain from right down below. Team 52 so far handling this fight pretty well despite losing a couple of members already. D-Saber goes full force, charging right through, and now it's gonna be Shin starting in the fight, and it's gonna be that tandem that goes in for trade. Shin, he's bested them all, and now it's only one member left for side of 52, and Helton just got no chance to even participate.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy run here so far from the Xavier. Stays alive, Harrington. A little bit of help, but should be able to offer a total reset now here for the side of the Xavier. Go back on here on the other side. Team Secret closing up the distance up against Talon's Esports. Gonna be only 100 meters up apart. But they don't meet, not just yet.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a composed gameplay for the side of Team Secret. So far, they've really been holding out over onto minutes generalists so well, alongside with some portions of Graveyard on that 2-2 split that it makes it really difficult for these teams to really bypass this section of the map. Meanwhile, Helton, he's got nowhere else to go. He tries to move into this quarter, but it is already secured by D-Saber. Finally, they close out the fight, but Harrington is not safe just yet. Some of the shots are still coming from all the way across. While Easy Slumber struggling to get by, they finally pass over onto the far east, and now there's just this valley of death over on the corner where they're kind of caught in between both Team Secret as well as Todak, and they're moving towards Todak's direction.
Gonna be tough here. Todak has the visual setup against AZ Slumber. Alter Ego Ares has RQ alongside Todak as well. In their visuals. Definitely going to be a lot of three-way clashes about to happen near this mid side, though preoccupied by the side of RQ. They do got to deal with one player from the side of Alter Ego Ares, and that is going to be Lava. But Lava, I'm pretty certain that he's going to be trying to sustain as much as he can and try to back up those placement points. But for the time being, no, still 8 more competition to go here. The process, RQ has a pretty good compound that they're holding on to, so that was them. Wait it out and see what lies next.
It's just a little calm before the storm, and this team's definitely needed a little bit of that reset. I mean, it's been super chaotic with just about 9 teams left. This is only stage 4, man. Like, these guys definitely gotta take a little bit of a deep breath. While Todak not feeling all too comfortable on this open terrains. They barely even got any form of cover, but the only form of refuge that they got is that they know that some portions over the north is pretty much cleared out because it's just devoured by the blue zone. So they definitely will be eyeing out on the central areas as well as the far east, where the last we saw, AZ Slumber was passing by that junction, and Team Flash, they make this late rotation from the far west, allow room for them to just wrap around, and all thanks to those teams being so feisty that it won't easily just bump into somebody out there. Enough spacing for these teams to kind of make it into stage 5 safely.
Yeah, just a battle of stalemate here. Wait things out once again. But first out of Team Secret, though, they are standing pretty once again. They do have one player down to the ground. I'm not exactly certain what exactly just happened there, but that is going to be Jaiki here. One player from the side of FL Flash. He's going to be closing up the distance to try to confirm that elimination. Not exactly to certain as well. If he's going to be aware that the rest, actually one player is going to be there holding things out. But we go back here towards BTR, and they are surrounding the last player for the set of Alter Ego Ares. Yep, this is not going to look good. S12 Painted has the Federalis, close it up, caught in the pinch, and that is going to be Alter Ego Ares now here out of the round.
Wow, it's just clean and precise. I mean, take a look at how BTR is playing. They're just really looking for pickoffs after pickoffs, and they just overwhelm them by the numbers every step of the way. D-Saber is going to be next to go in for the challenge, but I'm afraid that Shin might just actually be overwhelmed with the rest of the presence of BTR. He's just going to toss a little bit of nade just to buy a little bit more space. But wait, Doc naded himself. What?
Bloopers.
I guess. It happens.
Yeah, I'd say you hate to see it, but fortunately they're not really in the most crucial situation right now. Not exactly concerned here for set of Jukai as he gets caught by the DPS of Tops. Flashes in, pushing through, and that's going to be the price that you got to pay if you, Team Secret, decided to play off duos instead of squads. Now we move back here towards Todak here up against Talon. Naxel's going to be on the side. Nain going to be throwing down the nades. We all know Nain has been able to provide himself the spotlight for a moment or two. Now going to be deciding to initiate the clash against Talon Esports, and fortunately for them, I mean, they do got the players tagged up.
Yeah, without being very respectful of their position as well. Talon right now sandwiched in between. They got to really pick up a fight, whether if it's going to be Toad out or even AZ. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be a good situation for them. Axel already being knocked down. It's only down to Yoru at this very far corner. So he's trying to stay put for now as he's being rushed by all of the members of Toad out. And somehow it's going to be AZ that steals the point away.
Pushing through here, sprays down Manap. They can do a lot more here. He hops into the vehicle as well. Same goes for his teammate. AZ, Lumber, trying to run it away. Big spray here out of Scar. Was that frenzy, but not gonna be able to get the connect here. But Nane is on the trail, off the chase, off the tail end. Looking to go for the chase down, but decides to back away. Knows for a fact that there's gonna be plenty more opportunities to deal with alongside that. And you don't really want to get caught on a pinch. After all, you look at the circle here on the mid side. A lot of open terrain, just a slight elevation that could separate team from another.
So that is really smartly, they're hoping to actually form a pinch up against the rest of AZ, but AZ does have the high ground advantage though. Gachi's going to use it to full effect to at least find a little bit of cover for now. Asmi spots out some of the members of Team Secret at the very same time, as they're playing on the far end, so that's not going to be a cause of concern for now unless they want to traverse across the open field. Now, keep in mind that right now, in between the valleys, there's a lot of open space where they can easily get shot, which is why they're being absolutely careful about this situation right at this moment. And the rest of Team Flash finally making their presence felt in this matchup. They've already secured 3 points, and they want to go up against their brothers from Vietnam, Team Secret. Xerus right across, and Tops always have been looking for all these long-range opportunities, so he's just going to be marking their location. Perhaps Team Flash can send more members in, but there's still pressure from down below.
Getting through. A lot more things to come by with. Bodek versus crew here. Backs away. Team Secret and Team Flash though might just get caught in the pinch, but AZ somewhere finds the bullets to connect up in their faces. Unfortunate. But it's going to be one more player they're going to rely on here to try to stay alive for this game.
Very tough, particularly for Gachi. He's trying to find as much cover as he can, and he will not be able to stand firm up against Kenny, who just got brought in from Set 9, and he's already working so hard for this rest of Toad, having a whole lot more firepower to work with this time with the rest of his squad. Team Secret right now still being challenged and contested with only these two members. They're trying to hold firm. They managed to get the knockover on Bose. Win now trying to salvage this situation, and he's got to find an opening pick. But this is just a little bit tough because he does not have any form of vision up against those members of Secret.
Away. Here behind the trunk. Back in Team Secret. Despite the disparity that they were put up earlier, looking to sustain. In fact, they are putting up the impact once again. Bows down here for the set of Team Flash. Only to come down now towards Win alongside Tops here to make that rotation and try to stay alive inside of this game. Kodak though is going to be there from the backside of Team Secret, and it's going to be Kenny looking for the overview alongside Manap as well. But if you are looking at the players of RIQ, they're pretty much here sitting pretty inside of the compound.
Oh yeah, they are going to be guarding this zone for the rest of this matchup, and the rest of these teams might actually look to challenge, and this T-Junction is just so tough for them to actually play through the valleys. And take a look at Team Flash, they're so far over on the south side, and they're still dealing with the situation between Team Secret. They're on this gridlock where they're just holding each other hostage, and interesting enough, RQ sends two members on the other corner, and that shot connecting will send Toad out with a dominating streak of 5 points.
That seems to be leading the way here so far. Able to deal with Team Secret now. What comes to life next? A man on a horse from the side of BTR. Yep, not really the best of last year for the side of BTR. After all, you only got 3 members here to work with. And you got 1 player here pretty much securely out of this round. Not unless the horse can provide a coverage, but nope. Smoke's gonna be deployed here, puts up through, and he might just be able to slip by with his life here on his life as well.
Oh, that's a very risky attempt, but they're still trying to actually bid for it.
No way.
I mean, they gotta try to salvage whatever they could, and maybe the horse actually did tank a couple of all these shots, and Toda just could not really secure it.
What a manly horse. What a strong horse there, but hey, in all seriousness here, The Xavier Shin gonna be closing it up here, up against the three players of BTR. Oh, he wants to go for the chase down, but once again finds the player up the cross. The Xavier's out, top 4 remains.
Man, Coach Canada is just insane with his coverage every single time. I mean, those saves, immaculate. Right now, RQ goes in for the direct duel. Lapar now slips all the way downwards. So he does buy a little bit more of that space, but up against 2 members of Team Flash, a little tough to do. Lapar's just going to find an alternative as he's just trying to call in for a little bit more backing coming in from the back go right down below. Jeff Sty over on the far end. He's managed to get a glimpse out of win, but I don't think that he's got the right scopes for it. I mean, 3x on that AR is just not going to quite cut it.
Ooh. Tough. Pretty tough. Coming through. To the board. The music intensifies. The scene extends here with Flash finding the shot up against RQ. But little did he know, BTR might just close out the distance soon enough as well. This is a very tough situation here for either ends, Contra.
Yeah, I mean, this RQ double split is just working so well, and GFSI is just really receiving all this intel that they need to just seize whatever opportunity there is. When despite him getting that knock, he could not actually afford to even set foot forward because of that coverage coming from GF. And right now, all eyes on Team Flash. What is the next best play? I mean, they're still tops. They are still trying to find a little bit more room. Tops is already inside the zone, but not quite yet for the side of Wins, where he will be looking to book out with his vehicle. And perhaps the play is to really crash around to that compound where the other 2 members of RQ is holding at.
One player thrown down here. Has his back open. Looking to win. I just have to go for commitment here off the gunfight. Winch is trying to sustain there. Little knows well, just next beside the player of RQ, but he's still able to get the connection. Find passing away, should be a guaranteed elimination. But BTR on the feed finds Spicy instead. No Federalis beats Win to it.
Oh, he stole the point away. I mean, Win, that was a massive catch though. And right now, it allows the rest of Todak to also swing right through. And Tops, he's under siege. Can he actually hold firm with the DBS? Not quite so. And Todak now gets a little bit more of that opportunity as they're playing for a win right now up against the rest of RQ. BTR somehow still held firm. They were unchallenged, but the tires popped. Win, stranded in between, and he could not fight back.
Kodak, RQ, BTR tied up with 3 players on their squad. Kodak though caught on the mid side, out in the open. Only has the buggy in the smoke to work with alongside the rocks. Shouldn't matter. Getting trampled apart by both players of RQ. And Todak and BTR. This is tough. So tough for Todak here, Contra.
Extremely tough, especially now they're in the middle of the streets, relying on whatever smokes that they do have for the time being. Razor right now taking charge by the corner of the wall as he will try to find a little bit more of a glimpse up against both RQ as well as Todak at the very same time. This 3-way tie is just so tough to navigate around. 9 now stranded as the tires are now being popped away from the buggy. Despite those smokes being popped a little late, perhaps it can form a little decoy for him to quickly reposition, but there is the pressure coming in from the Pecco, trying to challenge up against Kenny. And RQ, they have to leave a little bit more of that wiggle room over on the back, and perhaps they might not really get much of an angle because they're playing from the warehouses where if you were to peek out, you might just be spotted out by PTR.
There's like a foot race here for RQ and BTR to find a means to eliminate Todak, and that will be favoring them at most. After all, Todak has a complete set of players, but BTR decides to come across here on Smith Street. Closing up now, Smokes covering them. Kent able to slip by, but the nade connects with 2 players. Oh, Federalis. Oh, Razy's gonna be down to the ground. Kent all alone now here up against 3 players of RQ. Now here, closing it up, Lapar leads the way, sprays on by. 1 more bullet to connect here for the side of player of BTR, but the S12 shuts it all away, and BTR is eliminated. Todak, RQ, 3v4, upstake.
Swolbell with that insane nade just shows RQ's dominance here in Miramar as the Kings of Kings are looking to bag it home. They do have 1 member deficit up against Todak, but Todak have been able to just control the entirety of the zone. So RQ They're pressured to really find a pickup here, or else this will all go down for nothing.
Oh, Todak, can he find Slapar away? Your RQ. You want to close this one out? You've done your efforts already to take down BTR, but Todak is on the prowl. I'll come and close this one through as well. They're surrounding the perimeter. Tier 9 closing it up now. Smoke's going to be deployed as well. Frenzy on the other side of the map. Definitely trying to get the players RQ here off a pinch.
Sending 9 here to also close in the distance, dropping a couple of nades to pressure them on. All they really have to do is wait for that zone to subside, and then the rest of RQ will have to leave out of that territory. And now they're trying to deal with 9, but the moment they step out, it's Fratisi finding the mark, and just like that, they trade right back. Lapar making it possible. 2 versus 3. What's going to be the call here? Lapar, now he tries to go 1v2, and it is the Malaysians. Todak, Pure, drawing their swords to the top.
Woo! Talk about the sustainability, the survivability that they were able to offer on the last and final few clashes. My days, out in the open. BTR alongside RQ was on the foot race to take them away from the competition. But my days, still was able to make it work out. Hands down, definitely a clutchy team we have here.
It's just insane, right? This three-way warfare between all of them were just so technical. But what really impressed me the most about Todak is not just their surefire power. It's all along from their point of contact, they were just playing over the outskirts, setting up traps after traps to funnel these numbers back. Kenny, the brand new transfer from Semi, is just showing that he is really in the top of his game. And now with all these brand new teammates to further supplement him, he is absolutely on fire.
I'm lost for words. It seemed like that the whole world was against them. Even leading up to that very moment, a lot of times they were up stake, caught in a pinch, didn't matter for them. And I thought that at some point, it was only 3 players remaining. That didn't happen. They're able to sustain their 4th member there, and they were just able to get it done. All sprees, all eyes here for Todak.
Yep, it's just beautiful execution all around. And then the moment where the zone actually closes over onto the outskirts, they knew that they had this one in the back. When then you saw that firm chokehold that they placed up against RQ was just overwhelming. And then we go back to that battle between BTR as well as RQ, right? I mean, so Phil, that nade just fully put a dent onto BTR, where if they did not manage to stop them on the tracks during that very moment, it could very well even be BTR at number 2 to really try to take that spot away. So good job for the top 4, as it consists of majority SEA teams, with Todak securing their first ever win here in Ruthless Invitational Showdown.
We're definitely seeing a lot of stories here turned around for sure, Contra. I don't exactly know what's up here for today, but hey, it's just them able to take the spotlight here for this one. And clearly, I mean, in regards to the damage here, clear disparity alongside eliminations, Todak rightfully just claimed this round for themselves.
Yeah, it just goes to show that they have just clear communication all around, right? Where they're planning members into very different spots in order to form this kind of funnel for different situations, and then down to, that final duel. It's a little bit more straightforward from that point onwards, but RQ, it was pretty much a grand plan of them going on that 2-2 split. They had 2 members spread out, and then eventually when they reconvened into that warehouse, it didn't seem like they had enough room. But Kenny, I mean, he's been really hitting the mark perfectly so. 6 submission points, although could use a little bit more frags, but then again, you're playing Miramar, man. You're relying on just raw aim and talent, and Kenny's got both of it.
Well, yeah, we're able to lead the pack there. And how much more we see from them is the question. On the prowl, though, is going to be ASA Crypto with 3 eliminations to his name. There's just well with 3 alongside Jike. I mean, fortunate for the South Team Secret, they got 2 players here, sling it all down, combined for 6, at least on the top performance here for this very round of Miramar. Well, for the side of ASA, I got to note, though, I mean, they seem to have a pretty strong start as well here on towards this round, but unfortunate mishaps happened at the latter part, and well, just didn't really able to push through at the end.
Fair enough, and it's also great to see that ASI having Turca to put some points back, as they desperately need it right now to still make advancements through the ladder. Majority of these Team Secret members, they were just winding through all these great avenues through their hometown spot in Minas Generalis, and they just really held firm onto the high ground. And taking a look at the rest of the field as well, I mean, other than the chicken leader secured by Todak, it's been great work coming from Team Secret as well as RQ, with only 1 point separating each, with 11 points for Team Secret, and it's a tie between RQ as well as Bigatron, which both of them were fighting for that number 2 spot. And Team Flash walking with 7 points alongside with the Savior. So it's a very SEA heavy top 10 if you actually look at the numbers right now. SI8 managing to only draw 4, whereas NetX, T2K, they were the first few casualties, so they didn't really have all too much room to play, unfortunately.
Yep, not at all. And, you know, that's just, you know, the price you got to pay, especially when you don't really put some extra efforts in regards to getting into the best of terrain. And, you know, the fortunate for the side of, you know, teams like Kodak is that they really took the gamble, especially in regards to putting themselves at the best situation. Now we get to see one player get featured here from the set of AZ Slumber. Hey, interesting stat line that we have here.
Yeah, 375 distance coverage is something that we will definitely expect coming from Miramar, but from Gacha Kuta, the new kid on the block from Malaysia, showing that he can really brawl with some of the best out there in the field. And on top of that, what's interesting is the stats right now. We have lesser throwables, lesser eliminations, lesser headshots. I mean, these teams, as much as we talk a lot about all these long to mid-range kind of shots, they still love to really take those fights on close proximity for most part, because they always carry around a DBS or a shotgun, so to speak, just to clear certain compounds. And it seems like they've been able to do just that. Team Secret, they search up ahead, and right now claims that number 2 position, as we see APG slide down since they don't participate in this Miramar round, but they will be back in the upcoming match. Vampire Esports and RRQ also seeing massive improvements here to secure the top 6.
Oof. Big climb here for the set of Team Secret, though, despite the fact that they were able to pull away with a round. Kodak, though, on the flip side, best believe it. First, to be able to get it done. Now going to be able to climb 10 rankings here contra. Well, 52 going to be able to get some progression as well. Or this drop down to 2, which is going to be pretty unfortunate. I mean, you are looking at the top dog of the competition, but fortunately, it's not going to be too far apart from the initial, you know, top. I mean, they are still at the top 10, so still 3 more rounds to go for them to probably recover from it.
Yeah, and then over onto the bottom of the barrel right now. NetX did manage to claim any points, so they remain stagnating on to 25 points. So the number to beat right now is 21 points, being held by both Void Donkey as well as Talon. That will change very, very soon, as the next game is going to be down in a couple of minutes or so. But man, Warden, I mean, we are looking at a rapid pace inside Miramar that we didn't. By stage 5, we've only had like, what, 7 teams left in comparison to Erangel. Like, these guys just keep on fighting and fighting to the point that there's just a lot more room for these players to play long range. So it definitely was interesting. But going back to Erangel, we want to see even more of that bloodshed. So we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll bring you more chicken dinners to come.
Step into the
Well, just like the past match, it seems like we only take a couple of breaths before we continue on with our next run, and we're already getting ourselves ready for our third matchup as we dive back into Wrangle. But Warden, I know you at first you weren't a big fan of Miramar. Did that last round kind of change your mind on, you know, how everything went on?
It definitely did, man. I mean, it wasn't even just the last round. It wasn't even the last circle. It was all the way down from the start. We barely got to see any stalemate. I think the most amount of times that we had a dry run was, what, 2 minutes at most, and that's pretty rare to come around with now here for Miramar. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we go back and forth with a Wrangle with Miramar, and definitely after Miramar, go back to Wrangle. It's to say, and now the groups are going to be playing. Now this time around is going to be Group B and Group C. So let's see if Fort Thrives has what it takes to put up the same numbers, same impact here, this time up against the composition of Group C.
Yeah, and on top of that, Boom Esports, APG making another return, and you know, APG in one of those rounds they fall flat, so no points whatsoever, and right now they're kind of having this sluggish start. I'm thinking that they feel a little bit more fired up now that they had a lot of time to really think through like what really was some of the mistakes that were committed in that past round. So I'm thinking APG could finally nail themselves a win here.
Could be the case. Could be the case. I mean, APG running it down, but for me, honestly, I think I might have to go back to back here towards BTR. I mean, they were close. I mean, they were on the number 3 spot, but the thing is, the nade really put them down by the side of RRQ. If mishaps like that could happen, if they can have the sustainability to actually run it through with the complete set of squad, I feel like with the way that they're able to set up the crossfires and control the lanes, the compounds, they might have a strong chance here, especially in a Wrangle.
Yeah, so far, I mean, BTR is still very consistent. And once again, I think the story continues where they were denied so many of all these opportunities towards the till. And oh, very interesting pick right now coming from Prot. They're going with Sem9. I mean, you got to root for good old Yuhai, who's been in the roster for some time. I mean, this guy was one of the stars of BTR back in the past, and returning back to Malaysia, he's definitely shown some brilliance and matured along the way as well. So I guess now he's taking on a very different role where he's still pretty much a certain kind of IGL who still frags from time to time. So I really want to see maybe a different kind of dynamic coming from Sem9. There were times where they just feel Furin together alongside with this roster, and Furin definitely changes the whole ball game because he's such a massive support for the team of Sem9.
We'll see about it here, Sem9. I mean, they're down there on the board. Let's see if they're going to be able to put up enough here on this round. I mean, after all, you talk about one team and their team will prevail, so on and so forth, and that's just the beauty of PUBG Mobile, unpredictability. And it can truly happen. The zone is a factor, the circle is a factor, the loot is a factor. Everything is just pretty volatile here. But hey, fortunately, we go back now here towards the Wrangle, and this time around, looking like we are striking from the north side of the map, specifically on the Georgia Pool side. So not going to be seeing a lot of competition here, definitely on the eastern side here, Contra.
Sure enough, and this definitely allows certain teams like Team Secret as well as Sem9 to get to where they love most, around that Georgia Pool area. And seemingly enough, these two never really got themselves into any form of altercation just yet. I mean, things might change moving into this matchup, as this also allows that access into the island, which is definitely vital for teams like APG to get to where they need to be. But the problem is, for those who love to move into areas like Farm or even Milta, the Popka, that's a long stretch. So we'll have to see how do they actually make amends. Are they going to fight for some of these vehicles or so? And look at the current standpoint, T2K as well as ASI, they're flowing towards 70. So I think they're definitely bound for a little bit of challenge, just like how they did from yesterday.
Definitely. Sarky, though, is going to be pre-congested by the players of Talon, and I think they're going to be splitting up as well towards the apartment side of Georgia Pool. Easy Slumber, though, is going to be on the container side specifically. Well, on the bottom side, APG, this definitely going to be gliding across military base, while Boyd Donkins will have remarks for himself. But Triber, you know, once again, within a situation earlier on a Wrangle, going to be starting things off here with a clash. They look to try to close out, but they lose one player in the process, and that's just the price you got to pay once again. Play it too aggressively, and you might just go down. But no, back and forth battle as we speak, but 2 out of 2 trades will come on by.
Oh my, now it's only down to 1 member left for AZ Slumber. He's still on the approach. Zio now only having the Bison in hand. Casio should be able to actually go in for a challenge, but it's only a Kimbo in the hands of Dark Lex. he's barely having enough time, but that swing almost finding the mark, and still Zio saves the day.
Yeah, fortunate here for the Center Fair. Mercy doesn't really fall into the same hands exactly how it went down with them and Alter Ego Eris. And that's going to be 4 eliminations to them. Unfortunate, though, they do lose 1 player in the process. Was it a worth it run? Well, you casualties do happen, mishaps do happen, and you just got to take it and move on to the next. Now, T2K Esports here, they are going to be pretty close here up against ASI8. And, hey, T2K, I mean, so far, I don't see any possible casualties, not just yet, aside from ASI8, but they're not really seeing each other, not just yet.
Man, and that was just a very rowdy start coming in from ASI8. I mean, AST. As Trap Airmancy managing to lick their wounds for a little bit, and just claiming 1 coming from the side of AZ is decent, but not the kind of run that they've expected it to be. I mean, look at this newly promoted team. They daring to even challenge some of the other best teams of the rest of the regions is showing some signs of promise. AZ Slumber usually will work wonders if they were allowed a little bit more time as well as space to really set up. So we'll have to see. Maybe the next run in Miramar will do them justice. Well, we got Huzaifa lurking in between those members of T2K. He spots Igneous, and he's not really looking towards the direction, so this could be an easy pick-off.
I'm really going for it. Oh, Mimi's going to be there as well towards the back, so it's definitely a fight you want to consider not really taking. But he has the crosser ready. Oh, he'll go for the spray down. No, doesn't really get the connection. Oh, never mind. Does so. And now, the respawn should be coming through as well here out of the open side. Big old spray down. Almost finds Jaya down to the ground. Has a UMP and an AR to play with. And the cavalry arrives here for a set of ASA. Hey, Casanova's now going to be into the play. But the rapper for the set of T2K will be enough to put down Huzaifa.
Oh, beautiful swing coming in. Just a drive-by, and now it's just going to be a goose chase between the two of them. And Casanova drops out of the vehicle, tries to challenge the rest of T2K. Mimi is now on the round. And it's Casanova finding the catch. So they managed to at least even up the odds for the moment.
Bit of a stalemate once again. No confirmation of kills, not just yet. ASA, they do have a pinch here to work with up against Jaya. True here, baby. Slips on by, has the DBS on his hands. Goes for the shot. Oh, Igneous. Why was he not reacting? And so unfortunate, just like that, T2K is not going to be eliminated. Now we move over towards Cedal alongside NEPX. And Cedal gets ran over by the set of NEPX.
Oh, that was just ruthless. And we still have 6042. Well, I'm not too sure why Olio changed his name into numbers, but I'll stick with Olio if I can. So right now, I'm not too sure what to make out of the situation. See VAL trying to box them into that same very shack. But even despite trying to do so, they managed to at least look for a trade, gets the knockover onto Rex, and now it's going to be a full charge coming from Olio to move right into this compound. Running it closely, I believe he does have 1 frag grenade that he could actually expend, and it's going to be another catch. Olio making wonders happen, and now looking to close up shop up against the rest of NEPX.
Olio here with the DBS, closing it up now into 4-9, and the UMP on the hand, sprays on by, but the DBS overpowers. Reset is on though for set of pressures. Finds 1 here from the side of Silicon Digital Alliance. Looking to get a lot more as well. Olio once again with a DPS. Popping off, good for 2, good for 3. Doesn't matter, it's a complete wipe over here by Silicon Digital Alliance.
It's just crazy on their work rate. I mean, these guys, they lost their members initially, and they just wouldn't back down. You take 1, I'll take all, if you don't mind me. And look at them go. Already 2 points in. I mean, Precious definitely did a lot of work there, but now only Domain left. He's just trying to sprint his way out in the street and hopefully not get caught. While he's looking for a vehicle, that circle does appear over onto the far western plains as well as the central grounds of Pachinki. So Pachinki is absolutely playable, but interesting enough, V-Saber, they usually leave their compounds inside Pachinki rather early to take that control over the hill, and right now smack dab in the middle, allowing space for Boom to play inside the city.
Yeah, I mean, pretty great map control here so far. I think it's going to be preoccupied here by a lot of these squads, though. Not really entirely in the central side, but definitely worth mentioning. And so far, I mean, the closest casualty we have here actually is going to be Boom Esports and Sem9. Boom Esports, Yami Joen here inside now here with an S12K. Ops by DBS. Doesn't connect with the first bump. It's punished on by Yami Joen now here on a spree. Finds one more player on the other side. Big mountain range control here for a set of Sem9. But Satray is going to be all alone here. Nate's going to be flying in as well. Mollis comes through. And there's going to be a 3 versus 1 situation here on his compound. Definitely not going to be a problem for Zero to close things out. And now they drop 2 players away from the hands of Sem9.
Such a clean take coming from Boom Esports, having the full storm now, taking over the compound. And Sem9, they're left stranded, looking for different alternatives, forcing their way into the Gatka fields. And I believe there's a little deep over on the Gatka, so hopefully they won't get caught up just yet. Olio once again goes on a 1v1 and spots out Domain, just leaping his way right through the window, and now find themselves in a tough position. He cannot really find the angles up against Domain, and likewise for the moment. He can call for a little bit of backing, but it doesn't seem like that to be the case. Domain still wiggling his way around, and it seems like it's going to take a while before they confirm anything. A clip lands on the shoulder, and that might just be the call for Domain to go on a full push.
The shotgun on hand as well. Definitely has the gun to back it up with, but decides to back away. Probably should try to go for the pickup. Oh, nope. Never mind. Gets confirmation off the kill now. Olio here looking to avenge his teammate. The Domain is off with a pretty strong spot here. It's a big 1v1. Smoke's gonna be dropped here. No, never mind. Backs the way through. Second for control here for the Olio. Now that's gonna be 966 here. Up on his rooftop now. Domain drops up and within. Doesn't really get the read here though. And they're gonna be finally meeting here up. Shotguns over shotguns. A pump and a DBS. Who can win the burst or the pump? Doesn't matter. Both taking their time here. Don't want to fall into anyone's trap.
I love how he's so chill to even recover it. Oh! He's trying to look for the angles through the window pane, but it's just too smooth from Domain. He expected him to take that peek, and he will Windows any given day of the week.
What a flick! My days! Talk about the reaction time.
Insane. Absolutely insane. Domain shut them all off, and CD Alliance, they were on a roll. I mean, what was that, Domain? Like, those moves was just too smooth. And now we carry on with the rest of the journey. APG still inside the island, being blockaded by 4 tribes, so they are wrapping over on the blue zone just to try to make ends meet. And there's still Domain by the far corner trying to find a way into the zone. Whereas Talon Esports, playing over the high elevated areas of the Mount Gatka, will be able to get a little bit of a glimpse upon the other players that's charging right by, and that's ASI taking over.
Just back here, closest fight. Yep, once again, it's going to be Talon Esports to end. He's had it for a moment or so, but now the Xavier and Team Flash beats him to it, though. They are going to be next to each other as well, just by separated 50 meters. And enough might just come down to Ops here dealing with Mr. No Name from the Xavier.
I believe this could be Lamborghini or so. These guys just love to change their names around. I mean, like using their IDs. They can afford to buy name cards any given point of the week with their prize money, you know. So we will know who exactly that is. I mean, sometimes they just love to stay a little mysterious, making our team think that, oh, there's a roster swap or so. Who could that be, right? Like, see the Alliance also making our heads turn with like numbers on the name. Like for a moment it was Olio, for a moment it was Adik Luke, but it didn't matter. They crashed out.
Off there. I looked back and I was like, wait, this is not Olio. Wait, hold on. Okay, never mind. I'll stick with the numbers for now. Don't want to get it wrong. And you know, student names are like keeping it secret. I mean, that's exactly what BTR did. I remember casting the very same tournament where it was the first one there on Ruthless that Federalis was actually into the play, and everyone actually knew it was Federalis who said that. And he will actually keep it discreet.
And yeah, we just gotta keep our secrets, you know. Like sometimes we also do receive real news, and like it wasn't published just yet, and we just gotta keep it hush hush. So
hush, yeah.
for certain teams, it's like it's too hard to keep as a secret. I mean, Team Secret though. I mean,
Team Secret.
They do have their own secrets.
Well, we're back here to Jin himself, and he's gonna be throwing some shots here. Pretty far up against Fort Thrives. He definitely has the AUG and 6X to back it up with, but Unfortunately, Mr. Four Tribes himself just doesn't want to deal with any of the shots flying by. Backs away. Going to be rotating to a different angle here, though. And we do get caught into a stalemate, but there's going to be a clash actually happening here with one of the players from the side of Vikings up against ASI8, and that's going to be a drive-by here early. A big old chase down, but looking like ASI8 does disengage.
Yep. They're just looking for the perfect place to really hold for the moment, and it seems to me that a lot of these teams are looking to fall back into the ruins ground. Four Tribes have too many options at hand to pick on, and they're already hurling all these shots back over the side of these savers, trying to suppress them over on the rooftops. So T24 doing a massive duty to really keep them at bay for the moment. At the same time, I mean, there is a straight member over on T24 and looking for a flank, and this is going to be the rest of VD just getting a couple of shots connected. And Huzaifa, he's just hoping to actually find those openings eventually, but SI8 drawing it to a close. But are they going to be going for that full collapse, though? I mean, they're just residing inside the smoke, waiting for the right opportunity to eventually seek out Zeta, who's very vulnerable in that position.
I'm liking the pacing, though, here from the side of ASA8. Yes, they do get caught into a lot of these scenarios, but they don't really commit to flashes that they don't really have the best of angles with, though. But fortunately for them, there is going to be one squad here closing on by, and that is going to be Void Donkey here. They got a hovercraft, they got two vehicles to play with as well, two cars, and looking like ASA is preparing for that window. Eyes on the side here for a set of 7-9. They are showing some shots here. It's one squad on the top side, but Ford Thrives actually closes in, and the Xavier, they trample, falling into the trap. 2 elimination out in the way, and Ford Thrives once again thriving to claim this elimination points, and they're going to be able to get the offer for the total reset.
Man, D-Saber thought that member was isolated, and the rest of Four Tribes responded just in the nick of time. And just like that, full-on punishment against the rest of Vietnam's finest. And just like that, D-Saber loses majority of their members, still having 2 more on the block. And Team Flash going for the full push, and that secures it. Four Tribes left out in the open, and now it's going to be Team Flash taking over as the Vultures up on top of the hill.
Still looks to get some more here. Win on the top side. Goes down a frag or smoke. Able to call for possibly to pick up now. The case here, the Xavier, one player getting tagged up once again. That's just one who they got to rely on. But Team Flash can't really get complacent. You got another squad there just on the bottom side, tagging them all through, getting the free hits. But now they're going to be caught inside of the zone. Nate T has to survive, has to find him. He should probably slip by and get parried all through, but I don't think it's going to be a possibility anymore. It's just going to be one player here for the side of the Xavier. Going to Flash, though, in the process. No, go for it. Swing by, and we'll be able to eliminate the players of the Xavier.
Oh, that was a beautiful snipe coming from Kent at the very same time from a different trajectory. And just like that, finding a one more point in the pocket of BTR. But Team Flash so far, we love seeing them go on full force. And it's already 5 points. And Team Flash, they're still super healthy out of all these kind of messy situations, and BTR, they're just playing it very safely by the edge because they do spot out there is still somebody inside of PUBG as well as the outskirts, so they're willing to stay around to trade back at Team Flash eventually.
Pretty great control here on the Cathedral, so they're going to have a lot of overview here with a lot of opportunities. I mean, take a look at the eastern side. There is going to be one player that is going to be Domain earlier. Alive and kicking, by the way. Still slipping by here on the eastern side of the Cathedral. Flash, though, is going to be coming from the western side. It's going to be bowed alongside Zeus. And it's just all going to come down to whether any of these two folks will try to go for some connections up against each other. And Bows is pretty eager. Probably take Federales down.
And here comes the rest of the cavalry as well, just to secure this area of play. And they're willing to fully commit up against this trade with BTR. Razy now, with his position pretty much compromised. I mean, he can still afford to fall back over the back end of the Cathedral and just get himself a little bit more comfortable if there's going to be even more pressure coming from the rest of Team Flash. But these two teams knows that there's not much to be done. Even if you do get the knock right now, it's going to be an easy pickup. Unless, you know, it's going to be a full flush that they're ready to just hop onto those vehicles to just rush out at each other. And the conundrum right now, both teams are very close to the very edge of the zone. So I don't think they want to take too long. They definitely want to prioritize on their positioning. So Team Flash is already on their way out.
Yeah, I mean, Boom Esports here is definitely in control of that factor, though. But look at this, Talon Esports just find themselves to go and meet the last player, avoiding Donkey, and that is surely going to be a sheer, clear, dominating elimination there. Not really a problem for Talon Esports, but now they got to worry about ASIA just across the map.
Yeah, very straightforward approaches. And now ASI8, I mean, props to them, right? They were in the mix of so many teams initially, and now just keeping themselves absolutely hunkered down over onto those compounds and unshaken, unstirred. But Talon Esports, are they about to stir the Hornets' nest if ever they were given a chance? It's going to be Superman right now, looking to defeat his other supervillains out there, but it doesn't seem like there's too much that is at stake for the moment. But to get by Boom Esports is going to be pretty tough, as Boom Esports right now will be fielded closest to the center of the updated zone. So there is some slight space that Team Flash as well as BTR could actually play from.
Definitely.
And it is a real rough area to play because they all rely only on terrains. Maybe just a little shack for cover for Team Flash, but that's all that there is to it.
Bit of a stalemate here once again. Closest clasher is going to be Talon Esports actually up against ASI8. Flash is going to be closing it up here with SM9. But nothing too much else just yet. Hold it down here now. ASI8 here on the top side. Talon Esports there. Baby. Oh, baby. Just thrown down to the ground. Tuck your head. But looking like they are fully in control of this situation. I mean, after all, they're all pretty much stacked up here, Contra.
True enough. Baby Crypto looking to land a couple of all these pots of frags, wrapping right through. Doesn't seem to really connect the dots right now, while the rest of Bigatron will be swarmed with the rest of Team Flash, hoping to close in within the distance. He does get a glimpse, and that shred of damage is not quite enough to actually take them down. Might just be able to pop the tars if they were able to aim it directly towards the buggy, but it does seem like the rest of Team Flash still standing pretty elusive. And finally, Domain has been able to really get himself involved, taking out a member of BTR, and now all attention onto that Lone Ranger right down the bottom, and somehow he still managed to dance it off and will be nailed down by Razy.
Stay alive, but Farrell is now going to be out. Because the crew has to step up. After all, you took a passive approach here inside of this round. Better make sure you make the most out of it. You've been stale coming from the initial start of this round number 3 over Wrangle. And now you got to deal with Team Flash as well, slowly climbing this cathedral all the way. To get the control here on the top side, Kent here on the open plane. APG as well there from the back, but ASA gets trampled on by the players of Talon Esports. Back and forth battles as we speak here, Contra.
And Iron is just trying to go in for a rescue, but does he have the time to do so? He's in the mix between those members of Talon right now, and they're just relying on whatever smoke's necessary right now with AST right above them, and that's just not enough for them to really retrieve much. It's going to be that nade coming from Yumiko that does secure the elimination point, while Bose blows up one member of BTR as they try to leave the cathedral, and Axel quickly goes for the restock. Now, what's going to be the next point of contact for the rest of Talon, because they have already gone for the reset. BTR slowly shredded apart with the rest of Team Flash, choking them out by the corner. It's only down to Coach Ken, and can the Coach actually bring at least a point back?
Oh, big all elimination here from the side of Flash. Taking down BTR. Now points to sail to 2. Step 9. Still not over. Here, finds Talon Esports as well. Back and forth kills here and now. The zone's going to be closing in here. Contra, 5 seconds remaining. Eyes on the zone. Does it remain in the middle side? Does it shift to anywhere? And it looks to stay right on the mid side here, Contra.
Yeah, Semlight now needs to make a firm decision. Where exactly do they plan themselves inside the zone? They are sending Yuhai into the zone, but AST is pretty close by, and they will be able to sniff them out very swiftly. So Team Flash, after taking out the rest of BTR, they're also looking to flock towards the direction of AST, and that position is coming from Crypto, spots one, and looking for the other member of Talon. Talon they're only down to 1, so he's not going to be moving any further muscles, but those nades are looking pretty good as Tops looking to take them all out.
Oh, this is gonna be a direct hit! Oh my days, Flash! They're on fire! BTR's out, off in their hands. Same goes for the side of Tribe or Messi. And they're still not over. They want to get 7-9 as well.
Oh, that was so clean. Those nades just look so good. And just like that, Team Flash on the roll. They will dominate the south side, but meanwhile, we go back to the north. 7-9 on the charge. And Vikings, they just trample them through. And Team Flash in the mix alongside the rest of the members of Vikings just arriving in the corner to take out one. It's already 13 points. It's the activation of both Vietnamese teams vying for the top spot. And now Team Flash with more nades. It's Bows looking to shred apart Trags, the final member remaining for MVKE.
BTR, Flash, Aramasi, now the Talons, all into the hands as the last blow. Hands down, Team Flash, leading the way, pushing through now. So once again, some more, the Vikings up next. Oh my days, Flash is eliminated. 6 squads in the span of 5 minutes.
Team Flash, what is this? It's 16 points already. They could potentially secure 20 if they land the chicken dinner with all the kills remaining, and perhaps maybe even more. They're still looking for a whole lot up against the rest of APG. They're hiding right behind that crate. He does have the buggy to action maneuver away, and on that hovercraft, it's not going to be any further reprieve. Alpha Gaming also receiving the brutal damage, but it is Tops here going for the exchange. He's managed to put 2 members down. Now, drawing to a 2 versus 1.
True Team Flash, calm down. So much on your plate. Alpha Gaming's now going to be out into play, and they're going to be eliminated out into the scene. It's now going to be Team Flash and Boom Esports, but Team Flash that only has 2 players up from their ground. Going to go for the reset. Boom Esports here rotating on the bottom side of the map. They're not going to go for the strike. Unfortunate for them. They got the call that there's only 2 players from Team Flash. That could have been a perfect time, but no, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter all too much. Boom Esports, they've been staying quiet for most part, playing very defensively through the ruins ground, and now they have a lot of space towards the low ground. Typically, a lot of all these analysts would say that, oh, playing on low ground, usually you don't really get too much advantage, but when you have so much of the zone control, this might just be the best leverage that Boom Esports has, so they're willing to wait. They only have to force a maneuver up against the rest of Team Flash because they have to come towards the direction. Meanwhile, Zeus with the flank control, spotting out Fajar right down over the bottom, but they haven't skipped their eyes over onto Zero, and that could be a pain point for the rest of Team Flash upon their entry.
Boom Esports here just back through. Team Flash, Zeus now going to be going for the overextension. No. DBS on his hands. Gonna get the first pump. Second doesn't connect as well. And now S1 into the hand. Zero here has to go behind the back of the rock. But no, he doesn't really sustain off this yet. Back and forth trades here. 1 for 1 for the set of Team Flash and Boom Esports.
When he's just doing so much right now, he covered fired and he's been able to keep Zeus still limping over on the ground for the moment while Zero has been brought down. So Tops finds another one in the bag. Boom Esports now on the deficit. 3 members strong. Team Flash might actually make the impossible happen to secure themselves more than 20 points of kills, and they've already achieved it. 20 is pretty much double chicken dinner. They're looking to secure the big fat win out of this round, and all they have to do is detonate Yummy by the corner of the zone.
Oh, Yummy Join. Doesn't matter, caught in the pinch, and it doesn't matter for Team Flash. All went down to BTR. Driver Massive, Viking 7-9, APG Talent, and Boom Esports. They all claim the banner. Team Flash, absolute dominance.
A flash of brilliance and a flash of dominance is what they've just shown us right here. 21 points of elims. They took out literally half the lobby.
Exactly, bro. It all went down once again. BTR, bro. They took down BTR. It wasn't done. They went for the strike. I mean, Driver Messi. Up next, Vikings taken down 7-9 as well. Alpha APG Talent, Boomy. Bro, call in every team out there. Team Flash is ready for it.
My word. how could we even describe this level of dominance coming in? Everyone was working perfectly with each other, but it was Win that really stole the show with the amount of damage being done. And then you have Bose on the front line. He's not even concerned because he knows the team's got his back. Everyone's just really protecting each other every step of the way. Even despite that moment, you saw that 1v1 happen between Zero as well as one of their teammates, and immediately there was that return fire that still allows the rest of Team Flash to come up on top.
They could definitely catch a break if they wanted to, bro, but no. They want to get the round over with. It was always them, the aggressors of this round. Never the time that they had their back against the wall, and whenever they did, they always made sure that they can get the full recovery to strike at the best time.
How do we even recover from this? I mean, imagine being in this lobby itself. You will fear for your life of going up against these guys because they're just looking so dominant that it's so difficult for them to pull off one fight to the next, but somehow they just made it happen as if it was just a walk in the park. And those numbers, it's just inflated. Look at the throwables. I mean, 20 frag grenades as well as 30 over smokes being expended. These other guys, they were taking it chill, but man, Team Flash treated this like the WoW finals.
I can't recover from it, bro. I definitely can't. I mean, as much as we have Ace Tally Sports on the screen, bro, best believe it, name it, Team Flash. That was probably the most dominating segment that I've ever witnessed in my time here in PUBG Mobile here, Contra.
Well, I hope there's a whole lot more of this being offered later on, because this is currently the bar being set. Tops just outshining everybody out there, and at the very least, AST have definitely shown some sign of brilliance of their own in the hands of Zio, where there was some clutch plays happening over onto those open fields when they were playing around the outskirts of Ruins. And despite them having those kind of traits, you remember what Team Flash did? Those double grenade is all it took to just wipe out the entirety of AST.
The raids, utility placements, gunfires, precision, everything was clicking to their way. 8 eliminations for the side of Win. 24. Name everything out there. Doesn't matter. What we all know is that they were just able to put on probably one of the best, if not the best, he showed so far that we've yet to see here for today's broadcast.
You gotta imagine the APM ratio for this guy, right? 30 utilities being used. 30, mind you, on top of shooting guns, reviving your teammates. I mean, for most part, there's not much to be revived since they are pretty much healthy, but they have done the unthinkable in this round. And to also complement that, I mean, Tops, he was also matching up to the tempo of Win for most part, where you take a look at the damage. He has surpassed Win because he's always in the front line, but Win was pretty much the one to also secure it at the very same time. 3 of these members, on top with Zeus, to also come back with a little bit more of his supportive fire to make it look pretty much pixel perfect for this team to really triumph in this match 9.
You see it, 32 freaking points. 32 points. Let me say it again, 32 points for Team Flash. That is diabolical, bro.
Diabolical indeed. I mean, you take a look at the rest of these teams, right? Unfortunately, they're playing for scraps because Team Flash, they're basically leaving no stones unturned, and every other team that just happen to bump into them, they just vanish. They vanish. There's no other teams that these guys could actually fight. So these other teams are just absolutely starved out. So it's just not even fair at all. But it is what it is. Team Flash, they just show you a game of a lifetime of their own.
Definitely a game that I'd be rewinding over and over again, just trying to debunk on how they were able to break down it. Man, my days. But hey, featured player here is going to be rigged from the side of Private Massey. We'll have 59 eliminations, and so far, I mean, the numbers here are pretty staple here. Definitely in the knockouts though, 62 for his name. Big standout for him.
Yeah, I mean, in Wrangle, like, I wonder where exactly he shot to actually connect 370 over meters, right? So it's just impeccable. I mean, there's just so many great stuff that happened in this round, but overall, all eyes are on Team Flash because of this big fat chicken dinner thing. Just moved all the way 18 spots to number 3, and it ties with APG. Ridiculous, mind you. And as a matter of fact, it ties even with Boom at 2nd place.
Oh my, crazy numbers, crazy freaking numbers. You get what? Those amount of eliminations, get the win as well. Plus 18. I haven't seen that as well. There's a lot of history in the making here for Team Flash, man. I mean, if they're able to do that, if they're able to control the pacing on the offensive side just like that, we are looking at a pretty dangerous squad here, Contra.
They definitely are. I mean, I'm glad to actually see them get activated because they've been a little bit of a sleeper back in day 1, but man, I need to get more of this dose of adrenaline coming in from Team Flash. I mean, if they do this on the grand finals, man, it's over, man. Like, it's not even a contest. So if they're capable to maintain this spree, I'm even lost for words right now. Don't mind me. So looking through the teams, I mean, this is just the stats, which is not really fully updated with much points added to the tally because, well, somebody took all of the points away, so pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, when there's a big standout, when a squad is able to get 32 points in one round, best believe it, a lot of these teams are going to be put at stale. And that's just the run there for the side of Team Flash. Well, fortunately, though, for today's broadcast, we've gotten 3 separate winners. I mean, we started things off with 4 Thrives, and then we move over towards Turca, if I'm not mistaken. And now here we have, you know, the squad here for Team Flash. How much more can we foresee here? After all, we're only halfway done for the broadcast. We can still got 3 more rounds to go, and we'll be hopping on it right after this break. We'll be right back, guys. Now we go back here on track for our Ruthless Showdown Invitational 12, day number 2 here, round number 4. My freaking days. I feel like, the round just keeps on getting better and better. Team just standing out even more there. And we got to see a pretty interesting dominating segment there from the side of Team Flash. Took down 6 squads in a span of like, what, 5-6 minutes, bro.
Yeah, and you're telling me that this is them in their off-season form. Wait till the season arrives. So these guys back in their Vietnamese region or even in the C rosters, they will be shaken on their dominance if they could just maintain it all the way through until their season starts. But we get to witness it firsthand here in Ruthless Invitational Showdown. So make sure you guys subscribe for a whole lot more of this epic showdown. We're going back into Miramar. And you remember, back in Miramar is just as chaotic, just as crazy, but maybe not Team Flash crazy. But hey, I might be proven wrong right now, because right now we got Group A make their return, and the rest of Group B, they're all fired up.
Yeah, I mean, first Team Flash, they do take a seat back now, and hey, let's run over the predictions here. Contra, who do you have in mind, bro?
It's always a tough question, right? I've got like 8 tries already. I've always gotten it wrong, but then again, I was taking a look at Team Secret. I think that they've definitely had decent formulas being in place. So I'm thinking that Team Secret is going to be my pick, essentially. Or we want to go for it.
No. You double it down. We double it down. Come on, bro.
Okay. Team Secret.
Team Secret. Yeah, I was initially going to say like, okay, let's run for Team Secret. But hey, both Team Secret for us. Contra, I do hope that, the rest of the squads just prove us wrong. But in the process, though, I want to give a huge shout out to my mother watching, actually. First time watching me on the broadcast. Hi, Mom.
Oh, hi. Hi, Auntie.
Hi, Auntie.
Great to have you on the show.
You say hi, Tita, bro. Hi, Tita.
Hi, Tita. Okay, I learned a little bit of Tagalog every now and then. Thanks, Morton.
Production. Which one are you going for? Horror. Okay.
Oh, strong choice. I mean, Horror Esports, they did manage to back a big one yesterday, so that's a really good prospect coming from the team. And also, we also look back into the past round. RQ, they were also part of the top 3 alongside with BTR, and there was also Todak that did manage to get a win for their own. So Miramar definitely could be anyone's ball game right now with some of all these notable names, but Team Secret, I'm just thinking that they just need to refine their end game fights, then they would be up there along with the rest.
I mean, they have the endurability. I mean, they definitely was able to really make it far on the first initial Raptor on, Miramar. It's just that, they're a bit of a jibbies here and there that they got to patch up on. But gunfight's definitely not something that they have a problem with. But there was a big standout for me in one situation where Team Secret had a pretty strong competition, but they decided to split up into duos in which they got picked off one by one. If they can work on patching up their problem, maybe till then we could definitely see them up there.
Yeah, and hopefully they will be able to just retain their members, because last we saw Team Secret, they also had certain challengers up in the early game. I can't remember whether it was ASC or was it Fortress that was fighting for that area play around Minas Gerais. So that is something that they will have to sort out first, or else it's going to be a tough ordeal for them to even consider making their way for a top 8 finish.
Yeah, definitely. Now here we go. Only 19 seconds separates us from the game itself. We go back to Miramar, second now here for today's broadcast. And earlier we were able to see Kodak able to make it happen here. RQ and BTR earlier was on the run to make it all happen as well, but they didn't really push through with it. We'll see about it. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Welcome to round number 4.
Well, Warden, I always love the opening sites that we do get throughout the hills of Miramar. And this time, it seems like we're going to be starting things off coming in from the northwestern corner map as we're traversing through the edge of Creative Fields. So EST, they're just going to decide, you know what, we're going to play it very safely. We'll go Alcantara into Ruins to be the first drop-off point. And most often than not, you will expect to see teams like Disavior inside of El Pozo if they're going to be in the game. But instead, we're getting ourselves 7-9 floating over. I believe their checkpoint would be in Montenevo. And the last time around, 4 tribes, 7-9, they've always went on that duke out. this is something to be expected inside of Montenegro.
Definitely a different look here for the flight path as well. I mean, earlier on the first round for Miramar, it started off at Campo Militar and it sliced all the way down to the vicinity of Valle del Mar, but this time here it's going to be coming from the top left of the map. So hey, at least fortunately with this flight path, we're going to be expecting a pretty even spread and a lot of better access as well towards Los Leones. As we all know, biggest city out there, going to be bound to be pretty congested soon enough. We do see some few players as well trying to make a cut for it, but for Set of Alpha Gaming here, they are going to be trying to occupy Chumaquera. Fourth rise will be there on Picado, and the rest will come through here, Contra.
Yeah, ooh, just look at our first opening circle. It's going to be situated somewhere towards the central field as well as the north point. Most likely than not, it will go somewhere around the lines of St. Martin or so. So a great start coming from Boing Donkey 7-9 Toad, where they can fend off each other inside of El Pozo for a little longer. And look at the situation. It seems like it is going to be a long standoff between Boing Donkey as well as the new visitors on the block. 7-9 usually moves into Montenegro, but because of the flight path being a little bit far of a stretch, they kind of allowed some of the members of 4 tribes to take over that city instead. And in El Pozo, it's big enough for about 3 teams to share, so I don't think it's a cause for concern.
It's a possibility of a clash here for the set of Team 52 and Boom Esports. Same was for set of Boing Donkey and Sem 9. And those 4 squads are definitely going to be what we're going to be keeping our eyes on here. Yami Joanne earlier, aka number 2 squad earlier on Wrangle now here. To a possible clash with Team 52, and it has to come down to the commitment. Pick it up now. Vector on the hands. 1 player from the side of Team 52, and the pinch will be offered here. UMP here for the side of Yummy Joanne. Yep. To be in control here so far, and we'll be able to get the spray down, and that is going to be the first elimination here for this very round.
Wow, a quick pin down coming from 2 different out angles, making it really hard for health. And Satria's going to find something in return, and that's the duel inside of El Pozo with a DBS, so to speak. So it looks like the 7-9 boys are going up close and personal on the small little screen that you have on the bottom right. While we focus back onto Impala, what's going on here is Boom Esports trying to suppress the rest of Team 52 over on the corners. Yummy's already soaking some damage, so he's got to recover. But back onto El Pozo, we have great shots coming in from Potato up close and personal with that DPS, and now looking to close it out up against Sem 9.
Yeah, a bit of a back and forth here for a set of Void Donkey and Sem 9. Void Donkey, though, might just get the final lap, but Zeta 5 is going to be eliminated in the process. Zach 5 is going to be down to the ground, so it's all going to come down to Potato and Gakord himself to try to probably sustain the team. And they will try to go for the pickup, and we'll actually go for the sweep by. And that is going to be Sem 9 going bye-bye.
Ooh, very unfortunate timing for Trixie. He's hoping to actually find and pretty much caught off guard while he's going for that revive, but the timing was immaculate. They managed to retrieve the fallen member and then just go in for that quick swing to make quick work out of Sem 9. And I would say that Sem 9 kind of feel out of place as well. I mean, that's not usually their drop location, so maybe not too well versed onto some of the nooks and crannies of that city. It might just be their downfall in that sense. But Team 52, they're holding up just fine up against Boom Esports. Now they're the ones rushing through, chasing onto M.
First Boo here, going to be leading the way with a shotgun. Comes himself, yep, has the advantage off that AK, and that is going to be a clean elimination there. And as we thought that, you know, Boom Esports had a pretty strong start there on the run for a wrangle. Was able to sustain at the number 2 spot, but this time around, they're starting off with a pretty heavy fight up against Team 52, as they're now going to be all alone. Magic closes up the distance, all looking to offer the pinch, and that is going to be Boom Esports as well, eliminated.
It's just crazy how quickly Team 52 strikes. They're like hornets swarming right through. And just like that, they just depleted Boom Esports, one of the finest hailing from Indonesia. And you're telling me that this team was newly established a couple of months back, and they've been able to qualify through the Malaysian circuit, now facing off another worthy adversary. This is definitely a point being proven from Team 52 that they really are out here, not just somebody who just takes a slot in the PMSL, but out here to really party amongst the best.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, with every opportunity you get granted with, you got to take it. And, you know, talk about the figures you're involved in this tournament. It's not, you know, definitely something you don't really want to miss out on. Now, take a look at the circle here, though. There's going to be 4 squads that are going to be involved directly inside of the zone. That is going to be The Vikings alongside the Donkeys and Fourth Thrives and Team Secret are going to be putting themselves into the mixture. The Vampires still, they are going to be coming from the southern side of the map, but Dell Alliance is going to be there on the trail. Same goes for the side of APG, so that might be a possible altercation that will be happening though, but they are separated by 300 meters.
Yeah, there's still plenty of space for them to actually hold firm too, especially an empty St. Martin is something that I don't usually see. So that could easily be occupied by the rest of Team Secret, but they're choosing to play by the hillside in return. So we'll have to see whether if there's just going to be more of that space to be claimed by the rest of the team. Vikings, they are pretty much unchallenged directly in the center zone, so we will expect them to have a good hold until maybe a top 8 situation arises for them to really do more. As for Trap Embassy, I felt like this team, they're really good in team fights, but sometimes they overcommit to one that's not really favorable, then that kind of cost them some position. Other than that,